I guess right now we should start the show.
Yo, welcome back to the JV podcast. Today, I got a special guest in the building. First time guest, has never been on the show before. I got AlexYKnowsBall. You might have seen him on Clash, House of Highlights. But for the audience that doesn't know you, introduce yourself to the audience, bro.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Alexi Knows Ball, and I've been a meme page slash commentary page, slowly getting into commentary and talking more over the last few months. And yeah, as Justin said, I've been on House of Highlights. I'm actually going to be doing filming for Overtime in a few days, so very exciting time for me. And yeah, I am a huge Miami Heat fan, as you can see, and we'll have a lot to talk about with them. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here, and it's gonna be a good time. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, that's dope that you gonna have a shoot like pretty soon. But
Yeah, it came out of nowhere too. It was I literally sent a LinkedIn message, and this dude was like, "Yeah, like come on the show." So it was fire.
But main topics of today's episode, we got the big time Giannis trade that happened on Monday. We got the LaMelo trade. I was gonna say the Julius Randle trade, but that all goes together. Um, and then we got NBA draft just happened this past week. We're gonna give our winners, losers, what we thought about the NBA draft.
Yes, sir.
But first, we're just gonna dive right into the Giannis trade because that's what happened on Monday. I did my little reaction video, but finally get to talk about it now. And we got a
Yes,
Heat fan
sir.
in the building.
Yes,
But
sir.
the full trade package, the Miami Heat send out Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, Kasparis Yakuchonis, 2026 first round pick, the 13th pick, which turned out to be Nate Ament,
Yeah.
um, 2030 first round pick swap, unprotected first in 2031, unprotected first in 2033, and a second
That's
round
right.
draft pick. And in return, the Miami Heat get Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis.
That's
A
right.
lot of moving pieces, man. A
It's
lot
a
of moving
lot.
pieces. I'll start with you since you are the Heat fan. How did you feel about this trade?
I mean, first off, for those who don't know, the Heat have missed out on approximately 10 All-Stars over the last 4 years. We've missed out on Dame, we've missed out on Bradley Beal, we've missed out on Donovan Mitchell, we've missed out on Kevin Durant, et cetera, et cetera. So I was expecting that the Celtics were going to steal Giannis from us, like everyone has stolen All-Stars, superstars from us. So getting that notification and the fact that it happened to the Celtics is just it was an incredible feeling. And we gave up a lot. Like I'm not gonna pretend like we didn't give up a lot. But I think that if this was the package 2 years ago, like people would have been like, wow, like the Heat stole Giannis. I think it's the fact that Giannis is 2 years older and the Bucks haven't done much in the last few years that people think that like, wow, like the Heat gutted their team. But I mean, I love the trade. Like we'll get into the specific details, but I mean, how can you not like we were gonna be the 10 seed next year and now we have Giannis. Like that's a gigantic difference. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, you don't got to tell me about the guys that the Heat missed out on because I know very well because I hate the Heat. So
Well, you
that's
know what?
documented.
Hey, but fair enough that we're easy to hate. So I can acknowledge that like I don't mind the haters because like people only hate the good teams, so I'm good with that.
Oh no, I hate bad teams too.
That well, that's just you then. That's see,
Yeah,
like you hate the Sacramento Kings?
I don't hate them, but like any chance I get to poke fun at them, I will.
Oh well, all right, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah,
But the
so
I hate the Brooklyn Nets though.
oh, I mean that's New York. Like I understand. Hey,
Yeah,
their tickets are cheap though, so
now they are. I mean, I didn't always hate the Heat when they had Bron. I fucking love the Heat.
mhm,
I think it was really the Jimmy Butler era.
that's fair. That's fair. He's controversial. I can understand that.
That was the era where I was like, man, fuck the Heat, man. I hate this team. But
Yeah,
my
that
first
was
reaction, I was like, damn, the Heat gave up a lot. But the more I got to sit with it and think about it, I'm like, none of these guys are gonna be fucking even close to Giannis, bro. Like,
No,
and it's
absolutely not.
and the Heat are kind of in like a weird spot because it's like, all right, do you not want to give up all those pieces for him? And it's like you said, you guys are gonna be the 10th seed next year,
Probably
or
worse.
do you just bring him in the building because you guys have struck out on all these people before, and you just figure it out later?
Yeah.
Because what else were you really gonna do? Because a lot of
Mhm.
people want to say, "Damn, they gave up a lot for Giannis," but what else were you really gonna do? Who else was out
That's
there?
yeah.
And it's Giannis, so it's justified. It's not like you gave up all that for some random dude. Like,
I mean,
I,
this was our package for Dame. Like this was pretty much what a Dame package would have looked like. And we got a player who like Dame's great, obviously, but like Giannis is arguably like if he's healthy this season, he could arguably be the best player in the world. Dame was
yeah,
never that. So
yeah.
like I mean, and I will say shout out to you for actually knowing how to say Kasparis Yakionis' name because every single analyst I've seen has not known how to say his name, and like he might be sneaky one of the better parts of the trade because people are just like, oh, he's just like whoever, but
I
like
love that dude.
he's really good. I like he's only 20. He's the youngest guy you get from that trade. He produced last year. He was a very good 3-point shooter, good passer. Like I mean the Bucks are like I wouldn't be shocked. Well, I don't know. Supposedly they're trying to like trade Hero, but if they kept all those Heat guys with whoever else is on that team, they're not going to be the worst team in the NBA. Like they're still going to be competitive. Like Tyler Hero could totally average 27 points a game next season. I would not be surprised. So like I think for the Bucks, because there were a lot of people. I don't know. Do you think the Heat package was better than the Celtics package? Because I saw some people debating this. Like the Celtics are
I
going to give
was,
up. It's like
I
Jalen Brown and two
mean,
picks.
I would say, yeah. I mean, like you could say, like, all right, you're getting Jalen Brown, who's
Mhm.
better than anybody that the Heat
Oh, for
gave
sure,
up,
absolutely.
but the amount of young talent, like I feel like Kasparis Yakuchonis, Jaquez, Ware, and the picks alone is a pretty solid return. And you throw on Tyler Hero on top of that, who, like you said,
He's
I wouldn't be
26.
surprised if he averages 25 a game next year.
Like
Um,
it's gonna be like a Cam. Well, obviously he's better than Cam Thomas significantly, but it's gonna be a Cam Thomas type situation where like it's gonna be him and Ryan Rollins taking a vast majority of the shots. Like
yeah,
he's going to, and he's from Milwaukee, so he's gonna be comfortable
yeah,
there
hometown kid, yeah.
for sure. But I just think you can't look at this trade because there's some pretty popular creators who were like, oh, the Celtics like they were gonna give the Bucks an MVP candidate. I'm like if Giannis couldn't do anything with this Bucks team, what makes you think that Jalen Brown like? Because also people talk about Jalen Brown like yes he was great last season. He still had Derek White. He still had a great coach. He still had Peyton Pritchard. He still had guy like Namus Keita came out of nowhere and was a quality starting center. Like Jalen Brown would not have been so good. If anything, the Bucks might have been a play-in team, but then it's like, what do you gain? Like what is actually like coming out of this. Like with the Heat's package, they could probably still be decent. And they got all these like Khalil Ware could genuinely like he could be a starter for the next 10 years. Like Kasparis Yakinyonis, very solid player. Jaime Jaquez was arguably the sixth man of the year last year. I know it went to Kelvin Johnson. Jaquez was a better player off the bench. Like that's the Bucks are set really well outside of the fact that they're paying Damian Lillard like $25 million for the next 4 years, and they have to somehow get off the Miles Turner and Kuzma contracts. But once they're done with that, like they're in a great spot, and the Hero contract is not bad at all.
Yeah, I feel like the more I think about it, I think that the Heat trade is just a lot better because from
So much.
Boston, you were just gonna get Jalen Brown, who's about to be 30, and maybe like 2 first-round picks, and that's it. At least with this Heat package, you have these young players, and maybe you don't think any of them has like all-star potential, but you still get to
It's
see
starter
them grow
potential.
and yeah, they're all starter potential.
Yeah.
And you got to remember the Bucks I don't believe own their own first until like
They're
2031 or some shit. It's
I
a
want to
minute.
say from the Dame trade, no?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So they're in a tough spot anyways. Like
Yeah. So it's like there's no reason for them to tank because now with the new lottery rules, they don't own their pick. So it's like they could just go out and
yeah.
play, and it doesn't affect them. So
And
and the fact
if
that they
any
had
yeah,
two lottery picks in this draft
they're
is
good.
amazing.
I mean, their young core right now is very. I mean, I haven't looked at every young core on every team, but it's got to be top, at worst, top 10 young cores in the NBA. Credit. I don't know if you like Tyler Hero's 26, so he's like on the older side, but like he still hasn't reached his prime yet. I mean, you've got all the Heat guys. You've got Nate Ament. You've got Ryan Rollins. You've got I forgot the name of the other guy they drafted. Um, but like they have
Braden Burries.
yes. So I mean they have seven young guys who all have either shown potential in the NBA or were higher first round picks. Like they and that's not including like they could still like next season's gonna be a developmental year, even if they're not terrible, like they're gonna find more decent young guys. And I think like the Bucks and they have seven guys next year who will likely play for them who are under the age of 27. Most of them are under the age of 23. Like all the the oldest one is Hero at 26. So like I like it a lot for the Bucks. Like if I was a Bucks fan, obviously you lose Giannis, but like I'd be excited that you didn't lose Giannis for nothing, and like you've got serious potential to have a bunch of quality young players over the next few seasons.
I
So
want to talk about the Heat side of this trade. Um, it's gonna be an interesting fit. I'm not gonna lie. I've been talking about it
it's
all week with my friends because I'm a Knicks fan. If you didn't know, so I was like, damn. As soon as the Knicks win a chip, the whole league is in shambles right now. Like trying to do
that's a
whatever
good
it
thing
takes.
though.
But
It's a great thing.
I mean, the one like for me, it's obviously you want to bring Giannis in, but there's a lot of glaring issues with the fit. Like that was my biggest concern when I saw the
Mhm.
trade. I was like, all right, this team defensively, this is
Top
probably gonna be like a
top five.
top. Yeah, this is gonna be a top five defense.
It's
Just just with
at
Bam,
worst.
just with Bam and Spo, is a top 10 defense at worst. But now with Giannis into the mix, this is gonna be a
It's
top five defense. Offensively, that's where it's a lot of questions,
I understand.
with especially with Norman Powell's future in question with the Heat. If the Heat don't keep Norman Powell, this could be very, very dark offensively. And that's the part that concerns me a lot. I really like Davion Mitchell, but I don't know. I feel like you need more with this core. I
Mhm.
feel like the Heat need a shot creating guard on top of what they have now. And I feel like Norman Powell, if you lose him, he's gonna be like that's like your best spacer gone.
Mhm.
And I don't know who he's gonna be replaced with. Andrew Wiggins is a very solid piece. I think he's a really good player. People kind of sleep on him. I'm not
Yeah,
sleeping on him because
yeah,
yeah,
he was
um,
41% from three last season. Like
yeah,
he was really
yeah. You
good.
can't. And then also the bench is in question a lot because you have to rely on Nikola Jovic, Drew Smith.
Yeah.
Um, there's one more player I think I'm forgetting.
You've got
Um,
Pell Larson.
Pelle
Um,
Larson, yeah.
but he's
Um,
actually been like a quality. Like he was a
no, yeah,
good player.
Pelle Larson's
So
decent,
I'm
yeah.
he's definitely gonna like surprise a lot of people next year. But yeah, I would say on that, like, so I agree, absolutely. But there's ways that the Heat are gonna look at, like, they're gonna figure it out. Because so number one, in terms of offense, so like, I appreciate the fact that you actually know that like Davion Mitchell's a good shooter now. They're like, I think people on NBA Twitter are like allergic to opening up Basketball Reference because he's been a 39% three-point shooter for the last two seasons. Like he isn't what like his rookie year, he was terrible at shooting, but he has developed a jump shot. Andrew Wiggins is great. Norman Powell, like I definitely agree. We need someone who's a shot creator. My only thing with Norman Powell is he's a little bit of a ball hog, and I don't necessarily like. I would granted I'd love to have him back. I wouldn't hate if we got like an Anthony Simons off the bench. We got like
Anthony Simons
even
will be really nice with this team.
even a Cam Thomas. I wouldn't hate to have as a six man. The guys that have been mentioned, it's not great. It's not. I mean, like we're gonna be picking out of the bargain bin for most of our guys, but like
I'm a My fault to cut you off. I'm gonna push
no,
back a
you're
little
good.
bit
You're good. You're good.
on Davion Mitchell. Yes, he did shoot 40% last year, but he shot. It was on three. It was like 3 attempts.
It's not a lot of attempts. I'll give you that.
The volume is definitely low. And for me, after watching this playoffs, you play the Knicks in the playoff series. Mike Brown is gonna be like, knock yourself
Slam
out.
shoot. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it was the same thing with Josh Hart this year. Josh Hart was a 40% 3-point shooter in the regular season, and I would tell my friends all the time, like that are also Knicks fans, I'm like, yo, Josh is the fakest 40% 3-point shooter ever. Because whenever he's open, he likes to fake, drive, and I'm like, bro, shoot the shit with confidence. But Davion Mitchell has improved a lot. Like he's a dude that I'm not sleeping on. Like
Absolutely.
defensively, he's big time. He's had a lot of big moments. And he's gonna be a pivotal part to this team.
Has to be.
Yeah, but there's gonna be a lot more that has to go into that in order for this team to take that next step.
I mean, for me, so the issue with because I start obviously when we get Giannis and we have this, I start thinking of who were the role players when we had LeBron. And obviously a lot of them were on the older side. I mean, Shea Battier, Mike Miller, Udonis Haslem still played back then. Like
Mario Chalmers.
Mario Chalmers, and he was the younger guy, Mario Chalmers. Ray Allen was like 39. Like the thing is,
Chris Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna need some young guys, which is why I like that Pell Larson stuck around. I think that was a big sticking point in the trade. Davion Mitchell's on the younger-ish side, but like the guys we're mentioning, like Chris Middleton would be like he's about to be 35, but he's someone that like the Heat are supposedly gonna be able to get because of Giannis. Klay Thompson's been mentioned. Shoot, LeBron's been mentioned. Like I get worried that we're gonna have to depend on a lot of older guys, but then again, like there's no better team in the NBA at turning G League players into rotation players than the Miami Heat. And so like there's someone that neither of us know about right now who will be playing like 20 minutes a game next season. Like that's just how it works with the Heat. Like there's gonna be a new Gabe Vincent, a new Max Strus, a new Duncan Robinson, a new Caleb Martin. Like that we find players out of anything. And so that's why I'm not worried. And I think you mentioned Nikola Jovic before. So his contract goes up to like 16 million a year. I'm thinking the Heat are going to find a way to salary dump him because we're going to need free agency money. And like he's getting paid. I want to say, well, this year's like his last year on his rookie deal, so it's like a poison pill. But if we can get off that 16 million, that clears up a lot of flexibility. And I think we're gonna be able to get some people on a discount just because we got Giannis. So I don't fully hate it. Plus, I think Bobby Portis off the bench is gonna be. He's not perfect, but he shot 45% from three last season. And like that is like it's funny because I see people saying like, "Oh, Bobby Portis takes stupid shots." I'm like, he had 51 like 45 splits. Like if he takes dumb shots and he shoots 45% from three, he could take as many dumb shots as he wants. So the bench is, I think this season, I don't see a championship this season because it's just the bench is going to be brutal. But once flexibility opens up, like it could be dangerous. I think this is just a feel out season, really.
Yeah, I think that is what it is at this point. You can't really, because you can expect some random LA Fitness dude to come in and hoop, but I'm like, at the same time, after watching the playoffs, it's gonna be hard to expect and rely on those guys to produce at a championship level for
Yeah, like
however many games, however many rounds. So, but I do expect it to happen. There's gonna be some random dude that I don't know that goes off. It's gonna be a random Friday night game against the Knicks on Prime, and some random dude I never heard hits 6 threes in a game. I
hey,
already see it happening.
Ledry Shamit, obviously not random, had a 30 ball against the Heat in the regular season.
Oh,
So
I love that game. I remember that game. No
oh my
Brunson,
gosh,
no
they scored
OG.
150 points against us, bro. I
That
was
game was
pissed.
insane. I remember that. And then Cat had like 30 in the first half.
Man, he should have gone for 81 or 80, 83.
Yo, that game was
Yes,
insane. But
man.
I'm excited to see the fit between Giannis and Bam. I want to see how
That's
that works.
for me, like I've said this for a few years because the Heat have been rumored to get Giannis since I don't know 2023. Like it's been a while. Like Giannis and Bam have the potential to be the greatest defensive front court in NBA history. Like they're it, they can guard every position on the court. Like that, like Bam Adebayo was guarding Steph Curry in his rookie year. Like the man, he can guard Tatum, he can guard Luca, he can match up with bigs. Like it is a crazy combination. And then on offense, obviously, I'm gonna need Bam's jump shot to like be consistent. Like he's shooting threes, not well right now. I mean, he was 35% 2 years ago, 31% this year. But a Bam Giannis pick and roll because they can both handle like is going to be ridiculous. Like I don't think people realize yet that like Bam's been used as the ball handler in pick and rolls for years. Like him and Jimmy Butler used to be the pick and roll, and Bam would handle the ball. Like it's gonna be if one of them, obviously I don't expect Giannis to have a consistent jump shot. If Bam can keep up his development with his jump shot, it's I don't know who's guarding that. It's a matchup nightmare. I
Um,
don't know.
I'm excited for the Heat a little bit just because I mean there's a lot of Heat fans in my life. My brother's a Heat fan. One of my cousins is a Heat fan. As soon as the trade went down, he was like, "I'll see you in the ECF next year," and I was like, "Yo, go get a bench first." But I'm excited to see Giannis in that black Heat jersey.
That's gonna
I'm
be
thinking about
nice.
I'm thinking about buying that for my brother as a gift. So whenever that comes out, I know that shit's gonna look fire. But I'm interested
We
to see
better
that
keep the
fit though.
Miami bias. I really think it's a great duo. Like, is it perfect? No, but defensively, I mean, this is a front court that compares to Pippen Rodman, Duncan, Tim Duncan, and David Robinson. Like, it is, and even if you talk about those duos, they couldn't guard 1 through 5. Like Pippen maybe could. Rodman was not guarding point guards.
Yeah,
Like
nah. Young
they're
Rodman maybe, but old Rodman nah.
no. Like Rodman by the time he was on the Bulls was not guarding point guards.
Yeah.
That
Oh
doesn't
hell yeah, nah.
obviously
Yeah.
obviously he's an incredible defender. Like for a guy his height to be a great rim protector was amazing. But like Giannis and Bam, at the very least, whether however you feel about them defensively, at the very least is probably the most versatile front court defensively that we've ever seen. Because there's no one on the court who I'm convinced they can't at least keep up with. Like there were some stats from last season. It was like these players when being guarded by Giannis, and it ranged from like Luca to Daniel Gafford to like catch and shoot 3-pointer like catch and shoot guys. Like they can keep up with whoever. And Davion Mitchell, the man literally nicknamed like night. Oh my god, I was
Off
like
night.
I forgot. Off night. It was something with night. The man literally nicknamed off night and Andrew Wiggins, who was the best or second best defender on the championship team. Like that is Norman Powell is the only bad defender, and I don't think he's that terrible. Like he's the
Yeah,
only bad
he's
defender.
not that bad. He's definitely the worst, like out of everybody. Like if you
Well,
was to say,
that's because
yeah,
everyone else is a like 90th
is
percentile or better
yeah.
defender. Like we have 4 defenders who you could like argue are top 20 defenders in the NBA. At the very least, Davion Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins are probably top 10 perimeter defenders. Like, it's if this team has any semblance of an offense, like it's gonna be that's why our teams with Jimmy Butler were really good because our offenses were usually just average, but the defense would be nuts. Like, I mean, we had years where like it was Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, Jimmy, Bam, like all these guys who played very good defense. And then, guys like Max Strus, Duncan Robinson who play no defense, and it worked. But we have two-way guys. So I'm excited.
I feel like the Heat would need to have like at least like a top 13-ish offense to be taken
totally
seriously
agree.
on that. To be taken seriously on that end. Because I don't know how much it worries you for ever since Giannis has been MVP caliber Giannis, he has played with a floor spacing 5 next to him. And Bam, as great as he is, like you said, the shooting is in question at times and it's not consistent. So I want to
Yeah, I
see
mean
how that aspect is
his
going
mid
forward.
range is good. His mid range is well, I don't know what his percentages are, but like his mid range game's been there for years, which is why I was always like back in like 2020, like the man was a great mid range shooter. I was like, why does he not take threes? And it took him about 5 years to start shooting threes. And of course, the first season he did it, he was 35% on like 4 attempts. Like he just needs to be him or Giannis just needs to be serviceable. And we also have one of the best shooting coaches in the league, Miami Heat legend Wayne Ellington, who used to have the franchise record in made threes. So we have the development team, and like the team as it's constructed right now has 5 players who shot above league average from three. So I think we'll figure it. And also, like everyone's gonna get open attempts. It's not like
Yeah.
people are like oh, the paint's gonna be packed. I'm like, Bam isn't a paint player for the most part. Like he goes in there, he drives, he shoots plenty of mid ranges, he shoots threes. Like the thing is, spacing isn't just necessarily if you can shoot threes. If you can shoot mid ranges, that still spaces the floor. And we've seen that with some of the bet. I mean, even Isaiah Hartenstein cannot shoot threes to save his life. The fact that he has a floater from 15 feet out actually gives the offense space. So yeah, nothing. I'm not worried.
Not yet. And I think Bam's midi is slept on. I think Giannis's improvement from the mid range this past season is only going to continue going into this season. So Bam, excuse me.
You good, bro?
But I'm excited though. I'm excited for the Heat. I think basketball is better when the Heat is good. I just hate playing against them.
It's we're the worst team to play. I know we used to have that stupid thing on our court where it was like the most like hard nosed, hardest working, this that, but like no one likes playing the Heat ever. This last season was probably the one time people liked playing the Heat because our offense was amazing and our defense was awful. So, and that's also what gives me confidence. The team, yes, we've traded a lot of guys. The team scored 120 points game last year. Like we can figure something out. But yeah, the Heat Celtics rivalry is back, and maybe a Heat Knicks rivalry. So it's gonna
The two
be
teams,
it's gonna be fun.
Two teams I hate playing the most is the Heat and the Magic. Because I feel like
the Magic always get us. I understand it, man.
I just feel like every time we play either of those two teams, somebody comes out like banged up.
It's not crazy to say that. It's not. It's great.
Next trade, we got the big Minnesota Timberwolves going crazy. I guess we'll start. I mean, it's all together. You could really talk about. Got Julius Randle getting traded from the Timberwolves to the Brooklyn Nets. The Timberwolves traded Julius Randle and the 20th overall pick to the Brooklyn Nets. That 20th overall pick ended up being Joshua Jefferson. And in exchange, the Timberwolves got the 33rd pick. It was basically a salary dump, and that pick ended up being Isaiah Evans. Shout out to my guy Slim. I was hoping Leon Rose picked him, but he didn't want to. That's a topic for another day. And the Chicago Bulls ended up getting Nick Claxton for free. Yeah, that was nice. And then on top of that, we got the Charlotte Hornets getting Nas Reed, and we got the Timberwolves getting back LaMelo Ball. Didn't the Hornets also get like a couple picks in that trade as well?
Well, so that's what I think makes this trade horrible. And yes, I'll just reveal it right now. Like the Charlotte Hornets,
Right.
this is a franchise-alteringly stupid trade. Like I don't say that lightly. So they gave the Hornets, they got one unprotected first-round pick. That was it. The other three pick swaps are pretty much valueless. Like I could pull it up. Like someone the like details of those pick swaps, it's essentially they have one unprotected pick swap, and that's in 2028. And like if you think that the Hornets are going to be better than the Timberwolves in 2028, like I'd love to sit and have a conversation with you because you're just like there's no chance. Unless if like even if Anthony Edwards like the worst possible thing happens that Ant requests a trade or he tears his Achilles, the Timberwolves will still be better than the Hornets. Like and they gave up Josh Green too, who's not bad. They gave up two rotation players. One of them, like, I don't understand why you trade away LaMelo Ball when you have no backup plan at point guard. Kobe White is not a point guard. I'm tired of hearing people say this. He is
Yeah, he's
not.
not.
He averages 4 assists a game. That doesn't make you like he is a shooting guard who is a score first player who is running the offense for the Charlotte Hornets. It's sure as hell not Trey Mann. It's not Brandon Miller. It's not Con Knipple. It's not Musa Diabate. Like, what's their plan at point? I know they drafted a point guard, but like, you can't expect him to be a full-time starter year one. Like, I think if you're going to trade LaMelo, which I understand from their perspective why, because his injury history, questionable leadership qualities, whatever whatever you want to say. But if you're going to trade him, you have to have a backup plan. Like, if they had, for example, even though like he's a scorer, but like if the Hornets, let's say, had Peyton Pritchard off their bench, and the way to get Peyton Pritchard more minutes was by trading LaMelo, I like that. Go ahead and do that. You have a great backup plan at point guard. Their backup plan at point guard doesn't exist, and I'm convinced that next season the development of Brandon Miller and Con Nipple and Musa Diabate has been significantly stunted because they lost the guy who got them easy looks. Like, I'm not saying they're going to be bad players. Knipple, Miller, still going to be great players. Diabate depends on getting good lobs and good passes. Who is giving them his passes? That's my thought. Like, I don't understand. And Nas Reed, I think, will be very good. But once again, who is getting him the ball? I don't know.
Yeah, when that trade was announced, I had just woke up and I was like, what the fuck am I waking up to? Man, and it's a damn shame because after the draft, I was like, yo, I'm super excited for the Charlotte Hornets next year. And now it's like, I don't even know if I want to watch this team next year. Like,
They were one of the best teams in the league in after January 1st. Like, this team was supposed to win 25 games. Yeah, they played in a 9-10 playing game. But like they were significantly above 500 for the year 2026. And
yeah,
they're a lottery team next year. Like
they were plus 11 on offense when LaMelo was on the court.
that's 11. That's literally like that's close to like Steve Nash levels of like on off. And I'm obviously LaMelo Ball, not Steve Nash. Like LaMelo Ball's a great player. has flaws, doesn't take the best shots. But the reality is he is what made the team run. And they have a bunch of great pieces and no one to put them in position. They better have a great plan to secure some type of point. They better be trading for TJ McConnell like tomorrow. Like
That wouldn't make me feel better.
It wouldn't make me feel great, but at least it's someone who can run an offense. They don't have an initiator. And I'm not saying every team needs a traditional point guard, but every team has someone who can set up the offense and get people in the right position. And they don't have a guy.
Might as well trade for John Moran at this point.
Which they have the trade exception to do it, but then again, if you trade a LaMelo Ball just to get John Morant comes with the same issues that LaMelo Ball has.
Mm-hmm.
The exact same issues. LaMelo Ball, off the court issues. John Morant, off the court issues. Like, John Morant's shot selection is probably a little better, but they also both have terrible injury histories. They're both, they've had inconsistent play on the court. Like, if you're going out and trading for Ja, also, LaMelo is a way better floor spacer than Ja. Significantly better. Like, if you trade for Ja, you have two guys in your starting five automatically who are not good three-point shooters. Because Diabate is not magically developing a jumper. And Ja hasn't been a good jump shooter, period. Like, I wouldn't hate if they got Ja, because it seems like no one wants him. And if you could get John Morant for 1 first, I pull the trigger. I still don't love. I don't like. LaMelo is just so much better of a distributor than John Morant.
Yeah, and I could tell. I bet you right now, when we get to February, Charlotte's gonna be picking up the phone trying to get whichever point guard in the door. Because I can see that happening right now.
I mean, they better be looking for a point guard in a week. Like,
they probably won't.
That knowing how their front office maneuvers, like, I know Jordan sold the team, but like they're still like knowing how they maneuver and how they make decisions. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, from everything I've heard, this front office group and ownership group is like legit, like they're serious. So maybe they knew something that we all don't, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna sell high on LaMelo." This was his most healthy season since, or was it his second year? And he's been injured every other year. So fuck it, we're just banking that this is the best it's gonna be. He's not gonna play this many games going forward. So fuck it, we're just gonna sell high right now. So it might not look good right now, but we gotta trust us. That's probably their thought process. And I guess, but like getting back Naz Reid, and no disrespect to Naz Reid, shout out to him, Jersey.
Like he's great.
He's great, but I'm like, I would have liked the guard back, because I'm getting back Naz Reid, who is he even like guaranteed to start on this team? No.
I would say, I mean, I don't know how the fit is, because it would be insert point guard here, Kniffel, Miller, Reed, Diabate.
Isn't Miles Bridges still there?
He shouldn't be a starter.
I mean,
I
don't disagree with you. But he's been the starter there. Yeah, he's been the starter there for years now.
I would assume. I think this is.
I don't think it's set in
traded,
but just in a vacuum, like I'm trading my star guard.
Yeah.
For a dude that's not even guaranteed to start in return.
That is pretty great.
On my back.
That
like when I think of that, I'm like, that's fucking insane. I would have liked the starting guard back, but like I'm trading my star point guard for a power forward who's not even guaranteed to start on my team. How the fuck am I supposed to sell that to my fan base? So
absolutely.
That's where I'm like, all right, like,
and
no matter whichever way you guys slice it behind the scenes about LaMelo that we don't know about, cool, but like that trade isn't gonna do it for me personally.
And the thing is, you were saying that they quote unquote sold high on LaMelo. I would argue this is not selling high. Like, is this his highest value? Sure. Did they get his highest value back? Absolutely. Not even close. Not like they're not even in a position where you could say that even if the LaMelo Ball saga in Minnesota doesn't go well, like you're not even in a position to say that you got a great return. Like as you said, like Nas Reed isn't guaranteed to start. Even if he does start, like I don't think Nas Reed is going to be an all-star. I mean, he's very good. Um, like there's other guys who need to shoot the ball. Like it's for you to see how good this team was to end the season and kill that momentum makes absolutely no sense to me. And I agree. I don't know how they sold it to anyone else. Like if they traded, if they traded LaMelo, I agree, got a guard, or even just not. It doesn't have to be a young guard, just a point guard. It was just someone who can take care of the offense, even if it's a point forward. Like I don't. I mean, their guard depth is terrible right now. It's the worst in the league. Like Zion James is going to have to play like 25 minutes a game. Zion James has not been good. Like you're gonna have to depend on guys who and the guys they drafted. You know what he could have benefited from? Learning from LaMelo Ball. Like you're stunting the development of guys who haven't even played for your team yet. And like that's the
Yeah, like
benefit of like if you draft a point guard to be behind your star point guard, the most sensible thing is to keep him there and make sure that he can develop. And now, who is he supposed to learn from? I mean, granted, the Hornets don't really have vets anyways outside of Grant Williams. But like, who is like, yeah, it's just if you're gonna trade LaMelo Ball, they better have the greatest plan of all time with this $40 million trade exception. But the reality is, for a small market team like Charlotte, that trade exception is probably just going to go unused because they got to save the money. That's $40 million they don't have to pay anyone. So I hate
and
it.
from the Timberwolves standpoint, it's a risky move, but it's going to be an exciting team on paper. A LaMelo and Anthony Edwards backcourt is going to be so fun.
It's the
I think
yeah.
Rudy Gobert better be ready to catch some unexpected passes. Don't know if he'll be ready for that, but I love it for the Timberwolves because it's like another gear, another level you can hit that you didn't necessarily had. And I've been saying this for the past like few years. The Timberwolves need a point guard so bad,
Yeah.
and now they have one. And we'll see how it goes from here. But LaMelo defensively, we know is not the greatest, and now he'll be on a team where he's surrounded by Rudy Gobert, who's older, but still one of the
So
best rim protectors of all time. Anthony Edwards was improved a lot as a defensive player. Jaden McDaniels. So I think it's gonna be a nice fitting team. The only thing that sucks is like you play in the West, and like, are you fucking with OKC? Are you fucking with the Spurs? That's really the
uh,
only thing. But in terms of just team that I would like to watch, this team might be up there on the top of the list.
I mean, for me, like LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards is like I feel like I'm gonna call it it's the ball is life backward. Like it is the ultimate like mixtape. Like it is going to be just as the Hornets were. Where like the Hornets, even when the Hornets were absolutely terrible, I tuned in to watch LaMelo Ball and to watch him, set people up, do the stuff that he does on the court. That's incredible, and he does stupid things on the court too. But I think LaMelo now, because people are like, oh, LaMelo isn't a winning player, this and that. You can't always put that all on the player. At a certain point, the team could be just not conducive to winning. Like LaMelo is going to be put on a team that has made the conference finals 2 years in a row. Or well, They made it 2 years in a row in the past, and then like they've been a good. Oh no, I'm thinking of Cat. Cat made the conference finals 2 years in a row. The Wolves did make the conference finals. And shout out to Cat. That's another thing is that they basically traded Cat for LaMelo, if you really think about it. So that's a whole other thing. But I think the Timberwolves, it's
Damn.
going to be interesting. Like the pace, and I agree with you. Like they've had Mike Conley, but the thing is, Mike Conley's on the older side. Their pace of play wasn't that fast. And for a guy like Anthony Edwards, who is a high flying, athletic person, the best thing you can have is someone who gets the ball up the court as quickly as possible. Like Mike Conley, for as good as he is, just was on the older side. And like when he was a few years younger and he was starting for the Timberwolves, that's when Ant was getting all these poster dunks, this and that, because they would have fast break points. If there's anything that LaMelo Ball will always do well, it is creating fast break points. Like Anthony Edwards this season, I think is going to have more posters than any other season. Like the amount of opportunities he's going to get on the fast break will be endless. And yeah, Rudy Gobert as well. Like he depends on getting lobs. That's why Mike Conley has followed him everywhere. Like that's LaMelo Ball, Rudy Gobert better. Like all he should do during the offseason is wide receiver drills. He needs to be able to catch. Like that's it. He can catch the ball on lobs. He's good. Like he's good for genuinely 14, 15 points game, no problem. As he usually is. Like even though he's not an offensive threat, he gets offensive rebounds and he catches lobs. Like I think it's just and for LaMelo, like that's gonna help. I would always argue that I think there's nothing better. There are two things that are great for a player's development that aren't necessarily under the player's control. And that's their coach and their point guard or whoever runs the offense. Like you've got guys off the bench right now who are going to benefit so much from having LaMelo. You got a guy like Joe Behringer who barely played last season, but he's a center. He is a guy who is going to benefit from having LaMelo on the team because if there's games Rudy Gobert doesn't play and this guy gets elevated to start, guess who's going to spoon feed him points? LaMelo. Like, and I think what's great too is that Anthony Edwards is a very well proven secondary ball handler, and he's an underrated playmaker. Like, he is not a bad playmaker by any stretch. LaMelo's second best playmaker over the last few years has been, I don't know, Brandon Miller. Like, they haven't had a secondary playmaker. LaMelo's had to be everything. And now he doesn't have to be. Like, LaMelo gets to be in the position where he is very obviously the number two. And I think that's going to be like leaps and bounds better. And I think like this is still they're I think solidified as the third best team in the West. And I think it's only up from here. Like I don't in terms of the West, I would agree you got the Spurs, you got the Thunder, you got the Timberwolves, and I'd argue you have everyone else. Like I don't know if the Rockets are going to replicate their success again. The Lakers, who knows what's going on with the Lakers right now. Like I really think like the Timberwolves they're a few moves away from genuinely not a few moves, I would say one or two moves away from genuinely competing with the Oklahoma City Thunder and with the Spurs. They are right there. Like they're a freak injury away from an NBA Finals appearance.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like Tim Conley, whenever his back is against the wall, he makes something
cooks.
happen. And I know some people want to make fun of him for the Randall trade. Listen, like I understand why they did it because of the financial stuff. It wasn't like, oh, we think Cat sucks, so peace out. Like that
Mhm.
wasn't the reason why they did it. So, but for him to be able to pivot out of that and walk out with LaMelo, you got to give a ton of credit to him. And I remember
That's
the Rudy
incredible.
Gobert trade. The Rudy Gobert trade when it first happened, a lot of people gave him shit for it, but Rudy Gobert fucking transformed that team's defense, and that team doesn't beat the Denver Nuggets twice in 2 seasons without Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
So
he's a winning player. Like Rudy Gobert is
yeah,
one of the ultimate winners, and I've argued this for a while. Like he is, yes. Is he perfect? No. And I understand why people don't like Rudy Gobert in terms of that he is just a rim protector, and that oh, if he matches up with someone else on the perimeter, he's not going to keep up with them. And like when Luka hit the game winner on him, like you can't blame him for that happening. Jaden McDaniels, like people don't rewatch that play. Jaden McDaniels was supposed to double Luka, and he went with whoever. Like you leave anyone out on an island with Luka Doncic, they're getting torched, and that's why I don't love when people are like, oh Rudy Gobert, like he just can't keep up on the perimeter with like Luka Doncic and Anthony, whoever. Like I'm like, who can? There are probably five,
yo,
there may be five people who can keep up with Luka Doncic, and they're all getting scored out anyways.
that's what I said. I remember when that game winner happened. I was like, yo, yeah, I can't get mad at Rudy for that, bro. Like that was just a bad spot to be in.
What center is what
And I was
center
like,
is stopping that?
realistically, I'm like, who's getting a stop right there, like center wise, all time?
It's it's like
Hakeem, maybe?
Hakeem. I mean, I know I'm a biased Heat fan. Like Bam can keep up with Luka on the perimeter. Luka's still scoring that game winner on him. Like it doesn't matter who it was. Luka was hitting that shot. That could have been prime Tony Allen, prime Scottie Pippen. He was making that, like that shot was in no matter what. He had whoever it was on an island. Like if it was a smaller player, he was going to drive at him. If it was a guy like Rudy Gobert, he was going to shoot over him. Like and Rudy Gobert, everywhere he's gone, he wins. Like when was the last time has Rudy Gobert ever missed the playoffs? I don't think he has. Maybe his rookie
I mean,
year. I
like
want to say,
probably like his first
but I
few
want to say
years
the
in the
Jazz
league.
were still. That wasn't the
Are you
Jazz.
talking about since he's became like an all-star level player?
Well, since he's became an All Star, he hasn't missed the playoffs. That I
Yeah,
know.
since he's became an all-star, I don't think he's missed the playoffs, but like in general, I'm like the Jazz definitely missed the playoffs, like
Maybe
his
I don't
first couple
know. They
years.
had Joe Johnson for that one random year. I want to say that might have been Gobert's rookie year. But the thing is, like,
He didn't make the playoffs for his first 3 seasons.
okay, so since he's been an All Star, I'll get
But
yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah.
The
Well,
minute he
basically, since
became an
he's
All
been
Star,
like the minute he's become like all defensive first team, they haven't missed the playoffs.
and with Rudy Gobert too, I think something that no one gives him credit for. That one year when the Jazz were the one seed, like that was
He
genuinely an
he carried their
MVP.
defense.
That was an MVP level season for Rudy Gobert. Like he took that team, and that's why like when I think about it was I want to say it was his last playoff series with the Jazz when they played the Mavs without Luka, and Jalen Brunson torched that team. It's all right. It's all right. Um, that showed how valuable Rudy Gobert was because there was not a single good perimeter defender on that entire team, and they were still like the 4 seed. Like their perimeter defense was like I can't even describe it. There was one game in that series. I want to say it was game 4. It was the NBA record for the most open 3-point attempts or makes or both in a playoff game. The most wide open. There is basically if you didn't get within 5 feet of the shot, it was wide open, and they had like 15 of them. I mean, their perimeter defense was Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley at that point was not the defender he was on Memphis, and he benefited from Memphis having great defenders. And then you had Royce O'Neal and Bojan Bogdanovic. Not a single one was a good defender by that point, and Rudy Gobert carried that team to the playoffs. If that was another center who started for that team, they were a lottery team. And like that's why that like people always have stuff to say about Rudy Gobert, and I understand it, but he is insanely valuable. And for the Timberwolves too, he gives them the ability to be aggressive on defense because they know that if they get passed by, Rudy's got them in the paint.
As soon as you brought up the Jazz Mavericks series, I just thought about that clip of Brunson cooking the shit out of Rudy Gobert, and he made him
Which he
spin.
did. Which he did. He did. But the thing is, like that, once again, why is he in that position? Because no one else could guard on the perimeter.
Oh man, that shit was hilarious.
That was fun. There's that. I always think of when I think of Rudy Gobert couldn't cook. There was the clip
Steph
of Chris
Curry.
Paul. Well, oh, there's that one. The
That
one
was
with Chris
nasty.
Paul.
Holy.
Yeah, that was.
What was the Chris Paul one again?
The Chris Paul one was he shot faked up and then he shot faked around him, and Rudy Gobert went like this, and then like he shot a mid range like right over him. It was when he was on the Thunder, Chris Paul.
Okay. Nah, that Steph Curry one was crazy.
Oh, oh my gosh, that was nasty. That was
Steph Curry had him fucking spinning, bro.
But the thing is, every good defender has those moments. That's why, like,
that's
I don't
true.
get like I remember I want to say Jared Allen said this once that like, getting dunked on is just part of being a center. Like, it's worse if your center is like, let's say DeAndre Ayton, someone who isn't willing to protect the rim when someone's going in for a dunk. It's worse to be in that position than to get dunked on, but you were actually trying to contest it. Like, that's why, Rudy Gobert gets dunked on a lot. You want to know why? He doesn't take one play off on defense. Not one. He defends every single shot that is going to the rim. And you're going to get dunked on. That's natural. Like, Dikembe Mutombo got dunked on plenty. Like, Hakeem probably got dunked on a bunch. But that's, like, if you're not getting dunked on, it almost tells me that, like, you're worse as a rim protector if you don't have a few highlights where you're getting dunked on. Obviously, if there's someone who, like, gets dunked on all the time and they don't play good defense, that's different. But, like, a defensive player of the year is going to get dunked on. But that shows that they actually, like, make the effort. But, so I like Rudy.
Timberwolves sent my guy Julius Randle to the Brooklyn Nets. It's fucked up, yo. It's fucked up.
That team, if they keep Michael Porter, I need them for my sake because I want to go to cheap basketball game. I'm from Connecticut, so it's either a Knicks or Nets game for me. I want to go to cheap Nets games, number one, because they're cheap, and number two, because I want to see how Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle share the basketball. Or, well, don't share the basketball. It might be the greatest, like, 1-2 ball hog punch of all time. I went to a Nets game. Actually, I went to a really good game. They had a double overtime game against the Celtics last year. And like some of the shot attempts that Michael Porter Jr. takes are just like I'm telling you, if the Nets come to your area or whatever team Michael Porter Jr. is employed by, please go. Like, please go and watch what Michael Porter Jr. does on a basketball court because nobody is doing it like him at all. Like, he is the funniest player in the NBA. And you added Julius Randle, who I'd argue is a top 5 funniest watch in the NBA. Like, yes, he was great on the Knicks at certain times, but like he is such a funny player to watch because there's some shots that he takes that just like you don't even fathom why he took them. Granted, I would say he makes them more than Michael Porter Jr. does, but that's hilarious. The Nets team this year is going to be like the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm excited.
Only thing I hate is I'm like, damn, we got to play a motivated Julius Randle 4 times a year.
Yeah, that'll be Knicks Nets games might be good again, which they haven't been for a bit, but
I think we've beaten them like 13 or 14 straight times.
Well, yeah, ever since Nick Claxton said, "I don't plan on losing to the Knicks much in my career," he has beat them.
Yeah, he was like, "I've never lost to the Knicks in my career," and then we just been killing them ever since.
This is why sometimes you got to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Randle, I have to say, that says a lot about Julius Randle's value that he got traded to move down 5 spots in the draft. and somehow Nick Claxton just like for free ended up on the Bulls. Like he wasn't even good enough. Like Julius Randle wasn't even good enough for the Wolves to get Nick Claxton or any. Did they even get a player back? The Wolves, they got nothing. I mean, he ended up being part of the LaMelo trade, but like it says a lot about his value. And I think Randle, you talk about with him being motivated. Julius Randle is the best in moments and games that do not matter. And if there's any team that plays games that do not matter, it is the Brooklyn Nets. So I would not be shocked if Julius Randle recouped his value and the Nets were able to get a first out of him.
That's probably what they're banking on.
I mean, Julius Randle was, an MVP candidate for the Knicks, as I'm sure you remember. Like
he was all NBA second team twice.
Yeah. Like I think Julius Randle, and the thing is, where his performance always drops off, except for some reason, his first season on the Timberwolves, he was actually good in the playoffs for like the first time ever. But his performance always drops off in big games, in important games. And now that he's on a team with no pressure, Julius Randle might go out there early on in the season, look like he could be an all-star, and all of a sudden the Nets are actually getting value back. I'd be shocked if Julius Randle is in a Nets jersey at the end of next season, or Michael Porter Jr. I think they're waiting on a team to bite, and I don't think they even have remotely a franchise player right now, and that's pretty much where they're at. And they have decent young guys. I mean, they drafted 5 first-round picks last year. Like they'll find something. But yeah, I don't see the Nets keeping Randle at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, all-star Julius Randle season coming. I'm not. Hey man, I'm not gonna shit on Julius Randle. Shout out to him. I still got the clip on my phone, him hitting the step back 3 against the Nets, and I was just going crazy. So
Randle hit a game winner. He hit a game winner against my Heat. It was a step back 3.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That shit when he lost the
double
ball.
Double team off the backboard. It is one of the luckiest shots I've ever watched on TV. It's between that and the Tatum game winner against the Bucks in the first game of the 2021 season. Oh, and the RJ Barrett and the RJ Barrett one. The RJ Barrett one against the
Celtics.
That's what
he just threw that shit up.
That was ridiculous. Like that was.
Were both the RJ Barrett's game winners just lucky as fuck?
What was remind me of the other one?
The one against the Cavs in the playoffs this year?
Oh, yes.
That shit bounced.
It did do a Halliburton. But I'd argue that, granted, RJ Barrett, as someone who was not a fan of RJ Barrett, I went to a Heat Knicks game, and the man had his career high. So he
the 46-point game?
I was there. Yeah, and
I was so happy.
The best part,
even though we lost that game.
I was gonna say, like, as a Heat fan, it was the best watch possible for a basketball game because I was in a section with Heat fans. I don't know if you remember this. On ESPN, you could hear "Let's Go Heat" chants in Madison Square Garden. So I just want to point that out. Like, the Knicks are not the only team that are allowed to take over like arenas. I know that's like your thing now, but Heat fans will do it as well, and we'll probably be like, we'll be less annoying about it. Like, we won't have any side talk videos, but like we'll be there. But yeah, that was a great game because RJ Barrett had the game of his life, and I got to watch the Heat win. So it was like a win-win. Like I got to see a good game. Yeah, Barrett. Oh my God, when he hit that game, the buzzer beater going into halftime, I was like, come on, man. And like one of my friends is a big Knicks fan. I was always telling him, like, the day you trade RJ Barrett and Julius Randle, this team's going to be good. Like, I was not high on RJ Barrett at all. And of course, the one Knicks game I go to when Barrett's on the team, the man has 46. Like, but he lost, so I still got to like be like, oh, like I was like, RJ Barrett's not a winning player.
I remember that game because I was talking so much shit. I was talking so much shit to my brother because he's a Heat fan. I was like, he's like, oh, that fucking defensive team, you guys can't even guard RJ Barrett. Like, I was just rage baiting. Yeah, we both coughing like
My
crazy.
fault.
It's just
My fault, bro. That I didn't even know where the mute button was. But
nah.
yeah, that was a great game. That's one of my favorite. That's I mean, I've been to a few basketball games. I've been blessed to see like some great performances. Like I saw that game. I saw the double overtime Nets Celtics game, which that was this year. The Nets stadium had maybe 500 Nets fans. It was a Boston Celtics home game.
Oh,
Home
they have
game.
no fans.
They know that. I'm like even when they had a big three of all future Hall of Famers, and they still had no fans. Like they're like the Rams, kind of like the Ram. I don't see like the Rams had a Super Bowl at their own stadium, and it got taken over by the opposing team's fans. I've never seen that in my life, and that's how it felt like going to a Nets game. It was it was like going to TD Garden. Um, but like yeah, that's one of the best that's one of the best games I think I may ever see was RJ Barrett going for 46. And like it was a guy that like I slandered all the time and he dropped 46 with me in attendance. So that's why, like I consider myself a great motivator. You can thank me for that 46-point performance because, he saw me in the crowd. He was like, oh yeah, he said I was a bust. So, had to go off. But yeah, shout out RJ. Shout out the Raptors. We
Yeah.
talked about John Morant before. Raptors, I would not hate a John Morant trade to the Raptors. But
Yeah.
they don't have,
I mean,
they got Quickly, but Quickly's always hurt.
he's always hurt and he's on one of the worst contracts.
He is getting paid. I could not believe when they paid Emmanuel Quickly that contract. Like Brandon Ingram hasn't lived up to his contract, but you can at least understand why he got paid so much because he's an all-star. Emmanuel Quickly has not sniffed an all-star team. And he got an all-star type contract. Not a max, but it might as well be. Like, it's his. I'll say the worst contracts in the NBA. It's between like him, Patrick Williams. Um, I would say even the Austin Reeves contract. I know we're talking about trades. I don't love the Austin Reeves contract, but yeah, that Quickly contract is nasty.
I mean, the Austin Reeves is better than what he was rumored to get before.
Yes, but also you just basically committed that your backcourt partner to Luca also can't play defense. You're
That's
committed to a team where your two automatic starters are both awful on defense. And Austin Reeves also zero All-Star appearances and like zero like maybe two good playoff game performances ever. Like you gave a lot of money to a guy who has not proven much. I mean, is he one of the best undrafted players ever? Yes. But I don't see I understand you had no choice, but that much money for a guy who has zero all-star appearances. We are in an epidemic in the NBA where guys get paid so much and a lot of them are not worth anywhere near that amount of money. Granted, shout out to them for getting their money. But like Austin Reeves, if this was the 2000s, Austin Reeves was not sniffing a max contract.
yeah,
I,
that's true.
I don't think. I mean, his stats were decent last year, but he's always hurt, and he's bad on defense.
That's true. Um, the next and final topic is gonna be NBA draft winners and losers of the NBA draft. Um, let's start with the winners because I feel like losers. I didn't really have a a bunch of losers, but
Mhm,
I feel like I'm gonna be picking this at some of the losers. Um, I guess I'll start with my first winner.
mhm.
My first winner of the NBA draft, and I got to give them a lot of credit, is a team I've made fun of a lot the last couple of years, but now they got new front office, and the future looks bright. The Chicago Bulls
Absolutely.
walking out walking out with Caleb Wilson at 4, which was expected, obviously, but then picking up Dalen Swain at 15, I was like, yeah, bro. Um, Dalen Swain is a dude I was really high on. I had him 12th in my mock draft, and for the Bulls to get him at 15, this team is going to be super athletic, lengthy. I think we're going to start to see them have an identity going forward, and then them adding Nick Claxton to the mix
That's
is
sick.
only going to make this team tough to play. And I could already see it now on a random Thursday night when the Knicks play the Chicago Bulls. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a really rough matchup, and I'm excited to see what they're building on. And I'm high on Caleb Wilson reaching his full potential just because of everything he says, the work ethic, the mindset, him saying he wants to be one of the greatest ever. I know a lot of people just say whatever they just say the politically correct thing after they get drafted, but I really believe it. Like he's very
Mhm.
convincing. Um, so I'm excited for them, and I think they are one of the biggest winners in the NBA draft.
For sure. Yeah, I fully agree. And the Bulls, for a team that has struggled with drafting, and with their front office, they've got a plan. And I obviously I'm not necessarily at the point where I think they have a franchise player yet. Obviously, I think Matas Buzelis very close to that. Josh Giddey, I think they've got a point guard for a while. But like this is a team that's got a few genuinely like very good pieces. Um, I mean they needed a center and they got a center for free. Like that's regardless of how you feel about Nick Claxton, like their center rotation last season, once Nikola Vucevic was gone, which Vucevic wasn't good anyways, but like their center rotation was nasty in a bad way. Like Nick Richards, I bet you've never heard this name. Lachlan Olbrich was playing minutes for them. Complete randoms playing center, just getting Nick Claxton. Like all you need now is a somewhat serviceable backup center, and your center rotation is set for now. Like, is Nick Claxton going to be the center that wins them a championship? I don't think so. Or the Bulls, I mean, the Bulls aren't close to that anyways. But like Nick Claxton can be a starter for a playoff team, and I think the Bulls could be. The Bulls should be, I think, at worst, a play-in team next season. And what's positive is that they're going to be in the play-in like they always are, but this time it's going to be with young guys leading the charge. And that's, yeah, I think the Bulls are the ultimate winner for me. Like Caleb Wilson obviously fits really well. And like the thing is, they're going to be a very switchable team. Like Nick Claxton can keep up with, and not 1 through 5, but I'd say 3 through 5. Like Nick Claxton can keep up with guys. Matas Buzelis can keep up with guys. Caleb Wilson can keep up with guys. I would like for someone on that team to gain some muscle at some point, but I don't mind the fact that they're all like lengthy and quick moving. Like it's going to be similar to like with the Raptors. The Raptors have a lot of lengthy players that aren't necessarily strong, and the one strong guy they have, like extra strong, and Jakob Poeltl sucks. So I don't mind if the Bulls have a team like that. And I agree. For them to have an identity is more than they've had in the last 3 years, 4 years. I mean, what's been their identity? Like, I don't know. You watched the Bulls game last season, that they didn't have anything going for them. And now like their starting lineup and even their depth is not looking bad at all. I mean, they've got Giddy, they've got Buzelis, they've got Claxton, like they've got Wilson, and that's probably 4 starters right there. And then fill in the blanks. They had a million guards last season who could be a shooting guard, and they'll be fine. Like I think this is a team that if there's a most improved team next season, I think the Bulls are right up there.
Yeah.
Like that's a big win.
Give me one of your winners for the NBA draft.
I mean, I would say like yes, it's very obvious, but like the Wizards. And I think I only say this because of the fact that there were reports that they may go for Darren Peterson. And obviously, I think Darren Peterson is going to be great. But the fact that they didn't fall into that trap, I think was smart. I don't say it's a trap because he was bad. I'd say it's a trap because I don't think he fits. And I think that naturally, you paid Trey Young all of that money. I wouldn't want to bring in Darren Peterson as well and get into a situation where Darren Peterson is a guy who's going to need the ball. And I think Diabanza can benefit, like, he'll get the ball definitely. And, like, it'll be his team in the next 3 years. But, like, he is someone where he can do stuff off ball. He can, like, he's someone who I think fits like a glove with this team. And, like, the 3, 4, and 5 of Diabanza, Anthony Davis, and Alex Sarr is really good defensively and offensively. And so I love the Wizards, and I think that they're going to be, I was talking about the Bulls being the most improved team. I think the Wizards are far and away, like, if they're not, I'm not saying they're going to be, the 1 seed. Trey Young said they're going to be the 1 seed. I don't believe that. If the Wizards are not like 6th or 5th next season in the East, I'd be shocked. I think they could really make a run. Like, I think the only teams I would say certifiably will be better in the regular season than the Wizards are the Knicks, the Heat, but even then the Heat aren't really a regular season team. I'll put, we don't even have to put the Heat in because I don't know, but them, the Celtics, maybe actually even then, oh, and the Cavs only because actually no, take the Cavs out, put the Pistons in. I'm worried about the Cavs. After that, Trey Young is a guy who wins games in the regular season and can win playoff games. I know you don't like Trey Young, and I understand why, but I think that bringing in Diabanza to this team would have been a lot better than Darren Peterson. Because I don't think Darren Peterson off the rip is going to make sense. Like, Darren Peterson's going to get to take all of the shots he wants in a Utah Jazz uniform, and that's going to benefit him. And it wouldn't have been the same for the Wizards. So it might be basic, but I think just because of what they could have done and what the Wizards historically have done. I mean, this was the team that drafted Kwame Brown first overall. Like, I think this is a good thing for them, and they're an automatic winner for me.
Yeah. The Wizards need a fucking rebrand.
Oh, I do agree. I want to make a video about this. I think that, like, AJ Diabanza he's the first ever rookie to look washed in an NBA uniform because of how bad those uniforms are. I agree.
The number doesn't help either.
What I forgot. What number was it?
He picked number 4.
I love the number 4 personally. It's my favorite number. But yeah, on a Wizards uniform, it doesn't look good. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, somebody on Twitter, they photoshopped it with the old Wizards jerseys, like the blue ones, and that shit looked fire. And I commented, like, I was like, yo, these jerseys were always hard. And that shit got like 200 likes. And one dude responded, he's like, if you think this is hard, you have horrible taste. And I'm like,
strong.
And I'm like, bro, this jersey is better than the bullshit that they got right now. I have a Michael Jordan Wizards jersey.
Just because
I would never
look.
Yeah, it looks fire. I would never, ever, ever, ever buy a fucking current day Wizards jersey. The only guys that could make that current Wizards jersey look cool is John Wall and Bradley Beal. Those were the only 2 guys.
When I envision them in Wizards jerseys, I envision them in different jerseys. Like, I think of them, I want to say it's their Christmas Day jerseys, the ones that are like bright red and it's just the one like white down the middle. Like, I envision them in those and not the stuff that they're wearing right now. And
yeah,
there's certain teams that, like, the Raptors should never change their uniforms. The Sixers 2000s uniform should have never been retired, and the Wizards.
Yeah, those mid 2000 Wizards jerseys were my favorite, like the John Wall rookie year jerseys.
So nice.
Once they switched, I'm like, ew. I remember 2K12, my first ever 2K. I got drafted to the Wizards, and that was the first year with those jerseys, and I was like, get me out of here. I'm requesting
They've
a
had those
trade.
jerseys for 14 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
from John
I
Wall's
did
second
not
year to now.
I did not realize that it's been that long.
Yeah,
Like, and
and
the thing
I
is, I feel
hated them
like
shits.
the only teams who can benefit from having jerseys like that all the time are teams that actually make good jerseys. Like Bulls jerseys are iconic. Heat jerseys are iconic. Knicks jerseys are iconic. The Brooklyn Nets, I better see them change their jersey every year. Like, and the Wizards, that's another team that, like, bro, 14 years with this,
Even when
probably
the Nets
15.
came out with the jerseys, bro. When the Nets came out with their jerseys, I'm like, this is so basic. Like,
But they're
you guys just
like,
want to be
their
the Spurs.
city, yeah, their city edition jerseys, though, are
No, yeah, the
great.
City Edition jerseys are good, but the
I just don't
regular
know
jerseys are
why.
just.
Yeah. Regardless of whether it was the ones they got when they first came to Brooklyn or the ones they have now, they all haven't been good. And
I
of
mean, I'm not
course,
going. The black Nets jersey isn't bad.
but compared to the
The
one the New Jersey ones are way better. Like,
oh, I miss the old Nets jerseys, like the early
yeah,
2000s, like the home white, and then on the road you wore the dark blue.
the dark
I
blue
didn't
ones
like
are
what they
fire.
those were fire. I have a Jason Kidd dark blue,
Yeah.
and they had those alternate gray ones. Those were fire too. I didn't
Yes.
fuck with I didn't fuck with the early 2010s when they wore red as their away jerseys. I didn't like
Yeah,
that shit at all. I
well,
thought that was whack as fuck.
to be fair, they were about to leave, so like, like,
Yeah.
yeah, but no, I think the Wizards, it's far past time for them to wear a different freaking jersey. Um, but yeah, so if you want to go into the losers, I can't even think of one that's like an outright loser. I know people are saying that, like, the Bucks with Nate Met, not like he's controversial, he's questionable. I would say the instant loser, just because I never trust who they draft, is the Sacramento Kings, just because they're the Sacramento Kings. I don't even hate who they drafted. It's just that I don't trust them to make. Like, I feel like if the Kings thinks that someone is good, they won't be. So that's my only
You
reasoning. Like, I don't like. I mean, or
you know it's
or if they are good, they'll trade them. One of
you
the
know
two.
it's funny. My loser was Darius Acuff.
There, I not even a question. Like, I feel so bad for Darius Acuff because now he has to go to this team where there is nothing. I mean, if they keep, I'm assuming that they're going to start trading and waiving guys at this point. I mean, there's reports that both Levine and DeRozan may be getting waived, maybe getting buyouts. They're
Damn.
both that bad. I mean, who's trading for either one? Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I mean, hey, if the Heat could get either one of those on a buyout, I'm in. But I'm not paying them the ridiculous amount of money that they're making right now. I mean, you
Yeah.
bring into a team with what's left. If let's assume Sabonis, Levine, and DeRozan are all off the team, I guess if they keep Westbrook, he'll be a decent guy to, like. Well, he won't be good, like, basketball wise, but he could mentor Darius Acuff. And then after that, Keegan Murray, uh, I don't know. They got what's Dylan Carwell, Caldwell, and this team is empty. And yeah, Darius Acuff, like, he'll get all the shots in the world, but he's gonna have no one to help him.
Listen, I'll say this. I love Darius Acuff.
Me too.
Um, I just feel bad for him going to the Kings. And my cousin was like, he loves Darius Acuff too. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna tune into a bunch of Kings games next year on League Pass." I'll say
Totally.
this: if DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are still on that team, I will not watch a single Kings game. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't do it. And I want to bet on Darius Acuff breaking the mold of shitty Kings era and rising through that because I feel like he's gonna be a special player. I
He's gonna be
just
really
feel
good.
bad. I just feel bad for the situation he's in, and getting past all of the DeRozans, Levines, they do have some guys I like on this team. Um, you still have Keegan Murray. You have Nick Clifford, Maxime
Nick,
Reynaud.
I did forget those two. They're
Yeah,
decent. It's just like
yeah,
they got overshadowed. But
yeah. Maxime Reynaud, who made all rookie team. So Devin Carter, like you still have not great, but still something there. And since you were the seventh pick with these new lottery rules, you can jump in. You could possibly get the number one pick next year and get Tyron Stokes. And now you have a duo of Darius Acuff and Tyron Stokes, and you look nice after that as a building block. So I'm gonna say Darius Acuff is a loser just because of the situation he's in. But I do feel like he's gonna be the one that changes the narrative and like turns this shit around. Cause I do feel
I
like
yeah,
that dude is gonna be legit.
I'd love to think that. I would love to be positive, and I do want to apologize to Maxime Renaud and Nick Clifford. Not that they're going to watch this, but they are good players. It's that the Kings are so irrelevant. It's hard to remember anything positive about them. And I think the thing I have, and I would say Acuff, yeah, he is the biggest loser. Like I said, the Kings, just because they're the Kings, but like Darius Acuff is the biggest loser in this situation. Like because of the fact that if he's great, I think the Kings will stupidly trade him. And if he's bad, it's because he's on the Kings. Like he can't win. Like I would like I hate to think like this, but like I don't think Darius Acuff stays on the Kings for longer than 5 years, regardless of he's if he's good or not, because the Kings just don't know how to develop. And if they do actually develop well, they send him out somewhere. Until they get a new owner or a qualified coach, like Doug Christie is probably the worst coach in the NBA. It's him
They
and
haven't fired him?
he's still on the team.
That's
The
already
King
a bad start.
because he's a Kings legend. I mean, he was a broadcaster for them for years, and he's still there. It's between him and Brian Keefe on the Wizards, which that's enough. Brian Keefe not being fired, he's the luckiest man on earth because he for not getting fired when Bam drops 83 points on your basketball team. Bam Adebayo, which like I have a Bam jersey on, I love him. He shouldn't be
He
sniffing
should not
50.
be scoring. Yeah, he shouldn't even be scoring 50 on you.
By the way, did not get doubled until he had 50 points. I just want to point this out. Did not get he was facing single coverage until he touched 50. But outside of that, with the Kings, I'm just like I feel awful for every player on that team, but especially the young ones. Because like Maxime Renaud, I mean, he was great, all rookie player. I don't know if the Kings are going to keep him around because they're gonna do something dumb. Like I would hate to be in an organization where there's no trust anywhere, and it's basically until their owner sells the team, I see no hope because everything around this team is incompetent. And I mean, yeah, with Doug Christie somehow still being the coach is wild to me. How does I don't think there's 28 other NBA teams who would have fired him by this point. The two not being the Kings and the Wizards.
Yeah, the fact that he still hasn't been fired is crazy. That's a horrible.
He
That
should have
yeah,
been fired
they're
50
just
games in.
proving our yeah. That literally just proves our point of how bad this franchise is. And I wish any of you Kings fans that watch this and want to comment on this try to talk shit because you don't want
Are
that.
they?
You don't want that
There's Kings
smoke.
fans.
Yeah.
Are they're still around? I know there's the one
There's definitely
TikTok. I
more
can't think of his
Kings
name.
fans than fucking Nets fans.
That I agree because at least Sacramento is like its own place. Like
Yeah.
they're competing against the California teams, but not If you live in Sacramento, you might actually go to Kings game.
I
If you live
went
in
to the Knicks.
Brooklyn, you're going to Nets game, or you're
I
going to
went
a
to
Knicks game.
I went to the Knicks parade last week, and I was like, "Yo, if the Nets won the chip, how many people are going to that parade?
It would look like
Should be like
obviously
500,
I was
500K
gonna
maybe.
say like
Nah,
WNBA
actually, nah. That's being generous.
no it would be like it'd be on a street corner like it would be like in a bodega or something. Like I don't think they need a big space like
My dad
to
doesn't
hold
believe me, but I'm like, yo, the Liberty pack out the games more than the
way
fucking
more.
Nets do.
I bet Liberty games and well the
Are
difference is
fire.
that the difference is well first off the Liberty are good and second
Hmm.
off the Liberty actually have a fan
Have
base.
fans, yes.
They have fans. No, I was just about to say this. Like WNBA parades now are packed compared to like it. Like the Nets championship parade will look like a WNBA parade like 20 years ago, before the league was exploding in popularity. But yeah, no, the Liberty are the second. They're the second most watched basketball team in New York City, without a doubt. And the Nets are completely irrelevant. Like I'm gonna go to a Nets game next season. I'm gonna try going to a game against a team that doesn't have a gigantic fan base, like a Nets Jazz game. I can almost guarantee you, I'm gonna see about 60 Nets jerseys and a bunch of people in street clothes who wanted to bring their kids to a professional basketball game and not spend $1,000. That's the only purpose that the Nets serve is to be a cheap way for kids and people to watch professional sports. That is the only purpose that they serve. Because even Liberty tickets aren't cheap now because they're actually a good functional basketball team that wins a lot. Like the Nets are even when they were good, like tickets were probably not bad to go to a Nets game by New York standards. I think the ultimate theme is that the Nets are the most irrelevant. Are they the most irrelevant franchise in the NBA? Probably.
Most irrelevant?
It's close
Probably.
between them because even the Jazz have are pretty not the last few
Nah,
years,
the
but
Jazz got something cooking.
they were consistently in the playoffs for a while.
Yeah,
Like yeah, they've never had a championship, but like they've been competitive. The Nets
it
they
has
made
to
a
be the
few.
Nets,
I mean, it has to be. They don't have
especially after, especially after this Knicks championship. Has to be the Nets.
like
Like
I'm.
the only reason you're bringing up the Nets now is because a bunch of us screaming "fuck them picks." Like
I mean, that's it. Like no,
that's it.
it's even as someone from I'm from Connecticut, and there's never been any. I've met plenty of Celtics fans. I've met plenty of Knicks fans. I have not once met a Brooklyn Nets fan or a New Jersey Nets fan when they were in New Jersey. They do not exist. And like Connecticut would be the place. Connecticut is the place I would expect to see Nets fans just because it's a weird state and it's split between there's people closer to Massachusetts and people closer to New York City. And yet there I because even with baseball, the Mets, Yankees, and Red Sox are pretty evenly spread fan base wise in Connecticut. If you asked 100 people if they were a Nets fan, 0 people are saying yes. Like I would be shocked if they could even find. They probably have to pay actors to wear Nets jerseys to come to the stadium,
Bro,
so they
I
have people
live
to
in
put on a jumbotron.
I live in Jersey, and I know less than 10 Nets fans.
Yeah, and they were in your city, they were in your state. Like my My mom is from New Jersey. She's been a Knicks fan her whole life. Why cheer for the Nets? Like,
I mean, I've always said if the Nets stayed in Jersey or come back to Jersey, I won't switch to the Nets, but I would support them a lot more. Like I wouldn't
yeah.
talk shit as much. I would support them a lot more. Maybe buy a T-shirt, hoodie. I, go to a bunch of more games. Um, but yeah, not since they're in Brooklyn, it's like for me personally, even though it is more expensive to go to a Knicks game, just the commute to MSG for me is way easier than going to
Going to
Barclays.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And when they
Barclays
were
is
in
in.
Jersey, it was way better because the old stadium is literally 15 minutes from my house. And then the Prudential Center was like 25, 30 minutes away. So
Yeah.
a lot more accessible for
I just
me.
don't
But now since they're in
understand.
Brooklyn, it's just like I don't care. Unless they're playing the Knicks, I don't.
I was gonna say then you can just go to Barclays and go to a Knicks home game for a fifth of the price. So,
Nah, yeah.
it
That's the
might not
only
be
time
that.
it's worth it.
Yeah, like I'm probably gonna go. I should go to a Heat Nets game this year just because it'll feel like I'm in Miami. Like that was the craziest part too. When I went to that double overtime game and guys kept hitting crazy shots. Like it was the quietest I've ever heard a stadium when a guy from the home team was hitting clutch shots. I've never once seen that. Like if you go back and watch highlights from that Celtics next game from this season, the arena is dead silent when I want to say Michael Porter Jr. had some big shots. Nolan Traore had some big shots. Silent. A Celtics player hits a big shot, the stadium erupted. Like it was, I've been to games at TD Garden. It was louder than TD Garden in Brooklyn. I mean, I really think that I think a basketball team in Nebraska would have more fans than the Brooklyn Nets. If today we created a LinkedIn Legends in LinkedIn, Nebraska, they would have more fans than the Nets, without a doubt.
Could a team in Wyoming have more fans than the Nets?
Absolutely. And the Jackson Hole Jackrabbits would have they would have an arena with a capacity of about 3,000 and it would be packed with actual people from the Miami Heat have a team have their G League team in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I guarantee you that there are more Sioux Falls Skyforce fans than there are Brooklyn Nets fans. No question. And the Sioux Falls Skyforce, I want to say, play in a stadium that fits about 2,500. They're like, it is, the Nets are, I understand we have expansion franchises coming. The Nets need to be relocated to anywhere. I
Come
don't
back to
care if,
Jersey.
come
Come
back
back
to
to Jersey.
Jersey would be great. I'd almost argue at this point, they've tarnished their reputation so bad in the Northeast that, like, I know it's going to be an expansion draft. Why not just relocate the Nets to Las Vegas? Why not? At least people will
Yeah,
go to the games.
either bring them back to Jersey or just like abolish that team completely. If you move them to
Or
Vegas, don't even call them the Nets anymore. Call them something else.
the gamblers. I don't know. Like put them in Vancouver. I don't know. Like it's embarrassing, and I don't understand the thought process of even moving them, and then also thinking that they're going to take over New York City, like a city where the Knicks sucked for a long time, and every single game would be a sellout. Every single one with actual real Knicks fans. You're not going to beat that.
Yeah.
And you have the Liberty. I think if the WNBA added a second team to New York City, they would have more fans than the Brooklyn Nets.
Hell yeah.
Without a doubt. If they put a team in Queens, absolutely like would have more fans and would pack out the stadium.
One of my favorite Knicks games I ever went to was Knicks versus Mavericks 29. This was the 1920 season. This was Porzingis' first game back in the Garden as a Dallas Maverick. And the Knicks were a 20-win team that year. And that
Yeah,
was one of my favorite games to go to.
it was
Marcus Morris
probably
was
an
our best
incredible
player.
atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Morris was our best player. He hit the game winner in that game.
Oh yeah,
That was
I've seen that.
rookie RJ Barrett, Julius Randle on that team. Dave Fizdale was still the coach. That was one of my favorite games to go to. And the
Frank
Knicks were
Ntilikina.
horrible. Yeah, Dennis Smith had like 13 off the bench. That's still to this day one of my favorite Knicks games that I've been to.
And that beats anything that you're getting at the at Barclays Center as a Nets fan. I went as a neutral. Well, I went as a Celtics hater. I actually one of the times I was on House of Highlights was as a Celtics hater. That is what I was casted as. So like I gotta live it. But like if I was a Nets fan, well, actually, I'm not even gonna do this hypothetical because that would never happen. There are no Nets fans. Like I don't know. Do people even buy season tickets for the team? Like, what is
I
their
would
like
think
sales?
so.
What does their sales team look like?
But
Like,
I feel
hey,
like
do you
the
want
people
to?
that do buy season tickets are probably like, yo, I got season tickets. Wemby's coming to town. How much you want to give me for that? Jokic
Probably.
coming to town. How much you want to give me for that? I think it's really on the resale. That's probably
Oh
what it
yeah,
is.
but even then, like, how much are you really reselling it for? You make it what, a $10 profit per ticket?
Probably.
Like, hey, instead of paying $10, here's 20. Like, shout out to them for still having like for being affordable. Like, good for them. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I can credit the Nets for is that they've managed to make something cheap in New York City. So like shout out to them. They're like the dollar slice of New York sports teams. Like you can always get better pizza, but the fact that it's there and you can go to a professional sports game, like good for them. However, they are a waste of space.
Yeah. I want to get back to the draft real quick.
Mhm.
A couple of things before we end it. Another one of my winners. This is probably an obvious one, but I just had to point it out because they did such a great job. The Memphis Grizzlies for me, grabbing Cam Boozer, third overall, who's my pick for Rookie of the Year next year. Um, Kareem Lopez at 21. I know some people hated the pick. Do it all wing. You can't go wrong with that. I thought they would have went point guard, but if you're getting a Swiss Army knife guy, I can't be upset at you for that. And then grabbing Richie Saunders at the top of the second round, one of the better shooters in this draft. Um, the Grizzlies are one of those teams. They draft well, they develop well, and just that trio already of Cedric Coward, Cam Boozer, Zach Edey, that looks amazing. And
Yeah.
even if you can't find a trade partner for Ja, I think even with Ja on this team, this team could be still really fun to watch, and they're going to be one of my favorite league pass teams. The only thing I ask is, Cam Boozer, please change your jersey number. That shit is disgusting. Number 27 looks horrible.
Oh my God. 27? Yeah, I'm with you. That's nasty.
That's
But
nasty.
7 would be cool.
And I remember I looked it up when they announced that he was wearing 27. I was like, "There's no way." I looked up retired Grizzlies jerseys, and it was like they have no
No.
retired jerseys.
They don't have
I
one.
think I think eventually they might have retired Tony Allen's, and
They didn't retire Zach Randolph?
they probably will soon. Um, but everything else was available, and I'm like, all right,
Wow.
let's see with the current players. I'm like, all right, 13 is still available. 33, like there was still a lot of good numbers available, but he picked 27. I'm like, bro, please
And
change that because that shit looks horrible.
especially because like when you're on the Celtics, I understand why people have weird numbers on the Celtics. They have like
Oh yeah,
20 jersey numbers retired. But like the Grizzlies, and you chose a number like that, yeah, I'm with you. And I agree as well. I know I've agreed with you a lot because you know ball. But like the Grizzlies, they are building something really, really good. And I'd almost argue because Ja has no trade value, it seems, I'd argue just keep him. Like if his value is already like not good, it's only up from here. Like either he gets good enough that you can trade him and actually get something, or he comes back to his former self. He fits really good with this team. Because I think this team is missing. And I agree that you've got, Boozer, you've got Edie, you've got Coward, and that's a great start. The team is going to be missing credit. I think Boozer could be the alpha on this team. But if John Morant comes back and can be his all-star self, like that's a good squad. And like John Morant was able when he was really cooking a few years ago, he did it with a very young team. And he did it with a team that had energy, that played good defense, that like was able to be, even if they were younger players, they played like veterans. And I think you already see that with Cedric Coward absolutely plays like a vet. Zach Edey plays like a vet. I think Cam Boozer could be that. I mean, Cam Boozer, I'd argue, is probably the most NBA ready. Like, is he going to be the best player from this draft? I don't think so. But his body is ready to play an 82 game season. And he could be, I think, off the bat, like not 20 and 10, but like a good 17 and 8 rookie year. I would not be surprised. And yeah,
I was gonna say 18, 10, and 4.
I mean, if Ja doesn't come back, they're going to need someone to be a playmaker. That we might see some point forward Cam Boozer. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think it all depends on Ja, honestly. I think if Ja comes back, his stats will be a little lower. If Ja leaves, I'd argue this is Cam Boozer's team. Like off of that. Because Coward's very good, Edie's very good. Neither of them scream like number one player on a team. But if that's I think they could end up being second, third best players on a playoff team. And then they just need someone who can take over. And even as a big UConn fan, like I'll acknowledge Cam Boozer is a guy who can take over. And a guy who can win
I'm
games.
still scarred from that game.
You're Duke guy?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you guys should like play UConn more than like once every 10 years and like you'd be like prepared to like, you beat them, but it's okay. Like
I thought it couldn't get worse than last year, but
oh,
this shit
last year
took
was
the cake.
bad.
Last year was
That
bad, but
was
this shit was worse.
I mean, I was recovering. I broke my ankle. I was in crutches, like in a brace, and I was about to run around. I was about to like run around my apartment when Brandon Mullins hit that shot. Like it was so funny too. I had a friend walk in, and he was like, "Oh, like what happened with the UConn Duke game?" I'm like, "Yeah, UConn's about to lose. They have to foul." And like 5 seconds later, Braylon Mullins hits the shot of his life, and all of a sudden, like, I mean, that was bad. Like, shout out Caden Boozer for still staying in college. He'll be a first round pick next year. He'll be really good. But that was a, I mean, team altering mistake.
Thank
And that
God.
was
Thank God that the Knicks won a championship because
would have been a tough year for you, man.
it would have been. Yeah, because like out of all my teams, it's like the Knicks were the one team where like I just gotta see them win, and I'm good. Like there's nothing you could say. I've seen all
Yeah,
my other teams win, so I'm good. But Duke is
I
one of
would.
those teams like you gotta win. Like you're not good with just one. Like you gotta get multiple.
Yeah, and I mean, that was an all time like falling apart moment, especially because UConn like made one of their first like 23s in the game, and the team
Yeah,
could
and
they couldn't hit a three the
thank
whole
God that
game.
was like the last like choke job because from that point to like all of last year, all I had to see was choke jobs from my team.
Yeah,
It
you
was
saw
insane.
Pacers, you saw yeah,
I'm a Giants fan. That Broncos game, even though it wasn't a playoff game, that was insane.
yeah.
We
I
were up
mean
26-8 and we lost that game.
I said the
We were
Giants
up
lost.
um Game 1 of the World Series 2024 choke job.
Yeah. I mean, the Giants too blew like what 5 games last year with a double-digit lead,
Yeah, we blew
6.
a shit ton of games. Yeah,
So, but yeah, it's
but that Broncos one hurt me the most. I don't know
oh
why.
that one I could not. I was watching Red
You know
Zone. I
what it
remember.
was? We just came off of beating the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, and
Oh
the
yeah, they were
fucking
like yeah.
that was like the high as a Giants fan. And then we go into Denver. I wasn't expecting to win that game,
Be
and that was the
competitive.
best defense. And the way we was just doing whatever we wanted to that team in the first half, I'm like, yo, we might be like for real. And then just choked, all time choke job. And then the next game, Scatterboo gets hurt, and that was just rock bottom.
Yeah, and then Jackson Dart, he had that one game where he had like 50 passing yards.
Oh, that was against the
Like
Vikings. Yeah.
yeah, man, but that was I really thought like I was like wow like the Giants like they could stick it to the playoffs this year like they hey they got the Eagles they're smoking the Broncos like and then yeah that was but don't worry I'm a Jets fan so I have it way worse
Oh
so
yeah,
like
that's horrible.
we don't even have I don't even I mean we're starting Geno Smith like in
Yeah.
2026. I mean, he was a top 10 QB 2 years ago, or top 15, but it's okay. It's not. It's hey, we got a lot of first round picks, which we will totally like draft incredible players with, because that's what we
Couple
always
th-
do.
couple things I want to point out before it gets lost. Thunder, clear winner. You get a Day
Absolutely.
Mara, and you get Bennett Sturts. Nothing much more has to be said about
Yep.
that. I like what the Spurs did, taking a chance on Jaden Quaintance. Probably the best defensive big in the entire draft. He's just very injury prone, but he is young, so
Yeah.
he's still only 18 years old. So you have that time. You also drafted Terrace Reed from UConn, who I liked a
Sorry.
lot. Um, so he's another dude that you brought in. And then you brought my guy Malik Brown as well. So they're just like, we're just gonna go crazy on the front court because we need as much size as we can next to Wemby. So I like that. And then one thing I do want to say, I feel like a lot of people like I don't want to call the Mavericks a loser for drafting Morris Johnson. Um, I just felt like that was like the lazy take, and everybody was calling the Mavericks losers because they took Morris Johnson just because the first 8 picks went chalk, and that was the one pick where like nobody expected that. I will say, was I caught off guard by the pick? Yeah, I was, but I'm not gonna call him a loser because I still think Morris Johnson's a really good player. I think he can contribute to this Mavericks team, and I think it's really just gonna take some creativity to get him involved with this roster. And you have Dusty May, who knows how to get him involved more than him. So maybe they saw something that we didn't. I guess the only thing I would say is like in this Cooper Flag era, this is the highest you're probably gonna pick, and you want to make the most out of that. And Braden Burries was right there, and I think Braden Burries could be like a Drew Holiday type of guy. So that's like my one thing. Like this is probably the highest pick you're gonna have in this Cooper Flag era. So you don't want to miss out on that. But I do like Morris Johnson a lot, and I know Dusty May, rookie head coach. Part of me feels like, and I know there's a track record of guys that coach in college that come to the NBA and they suck. But part of
Most
me
of them.
feels like, yeah, most of them. Part of me feels like Dusty May is gonna do a great job because I feel like every single spot that Dusty May has been at, he succeeded. Um, and I feel like he's one of those guys who understands where basketball is going. Is very good with X's and O's. He's very good as a player's coach, like listening to where the game is going and headed to. So I'm excited for him, and I think that may not be this season, but I think he can grow that franchise into a new direction because it got real dark after February 2nd, 2025. So
That's
or
right.
February 1st, whatever day that was. But yeah, I'm excited for Dusty May
For
and the
sure.
Mavericks.
Yeah, I would say, and I think on that, another winner I have, and it's not necessarily because of who they picked fifth, but who they picked 57th. The Los Angeles Clippers are winners because they invented a new way to draft and stash players. I don't know if you've heard about this. The Clippers' 57th pick is playing at
He's
Auburn
going.
this season.
Oh, he's going. Yeah, but they still have his
He's
rights, right?
and they have his rights. It's the
So
first
once,
time
okay.
it's ever happened. But it's because of NIL, because he's going to get paid more by Auburn than he will by the Clippers. More than likely. As the 57th pick in the draft,
So
he's gonna
once
make more.
once he decides to go to the NBA, he will go straight to the Clippers, correct?
Yes. And will
It's kind,
likely
it's kind
get
of like
paid.
Larry Bird back in the day. The
Yeah.
Celtics drafted him, and he went to Indiana State his senior year, and then he went to play for the Celtics the next year
Mhm.
after that.
But yeah, so this is like, but no, the Clippers invented a new way to draft and stash. Because I want to say it was like, because Larry Bird wasn't, I don't know if he was even under contract or anything, or that was also a very different era. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, the Clippers literally just invented like a new way to draft and stash players. And I think this is going to be a blueprint for future teams that like, why not just, hey, if this guy is going to, we draft this guy, but we think he needs another year of development, why not just let him play in college? At least you know, he's in the country and we can still, make sure that like, well, they can't do two. Actually, I don't even know how that works with contract, but I think the Clippers inventing a new way to draft and stash players is sick. I always think like new loopholes are amazing, and that's something where I think other teams are going to start doing. I think this is not going to be the last time that we see a player drafted in the NBA and go play in college. And I think this is a
yeah,
new wave because the NCAA is essentially a professional league at this point. And I think
yeah,
that now, instead of a guy going and playing in Europe, I think we're going to have guys playing in the US as draft and stash players. Because also, you get the benefit that, like, in Europe, that's a different type of basketball. There's different rules. In the NCAA, the rules are a little different, but it's a lot closer to the NBA basketball than what you see in Europe. So I just want to shout out the Clippers for doing something incredibly creative and possibly illegal because I like when people push boundaries. I think it's a great thing. So
yeah.
that's my
Well,
winner.
that's the NBA draft winners and losers. That's gonna do it for today's episode. Before we get out of here, is there anything you want to shout out, bro?
I mean, shout out to you for DMing me for being active. I think, if anyone ever wants to DM me, where I respond to everyone, like I don't care how many followers I have, like I'm here for the community. Anyone who needs a podcast guest, anything, like this is my full-time thing right now. And I love doing it. I love being out in the community. So I appreciate the invite. Shout out to you. And yeah, at AlexYKnowsBall on every platform you could think of. I even started posting on Facebook. I'm everywhere. So yeah, and I'll be very soon in a video with Overtime Lunchbox debating. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, so follow me all platforms, DM me. I will respond. You ever need to take, I got you. If my opinions become your opinions, that's cool because I know ball. So I appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate you for pulling up, especially on short notice, because I was like,
Of
I
course, bro.
definitely wanted to have somebody on for this episode. Um, but yeah, it's dope. I'm looking forward to that overtime video. Shout out to Clash because I hit them up. I'm trying to do some. Yo, if they do an NBA trivia, yo, I need to be on that because I feel like I
Me
would
too.
win that.
Me too.
I
Do you
need to be on
yeah, but all trust me, like once you get on once, it's easier after that. So you got it, bro. I'm sure you're gonna be on that soon.
that. Yeah, because I seen one of the NBA trivia videos and I was like, oh shit, I probably would have won this shit. Like,
Yeah,
especially if they If they do an NBA draft trivia, I
Yeah,
might.
I started doing scorecards for myself to compare myself to the videos, and I was like, man, I could compete. I could be there. So I'm with you, man. But absolutely, I appreciate it, man.
All right. If you guys are listening on audio, please give 5 stars. Please like. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. Follow on Instagram at the JV Podcast One. Follow on TikTok at the JV Podcast. Appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Um, this is second part of the episode. You guys probably seen the first part. Now we are in the second portion of the episode. Today I am joined by special guest EJ Stewart from the Orange and Bloods podcast. Big time Knicks fan. So, and what I've been doing for all the Knicks fans lately, I gotta address them as such and say, "What's up, champ?"
See, now I'm already locked in now, man. What's up to you, champ? That's how I've been addressing people as well, and it's a beautiful time to be a Knicks fan. It's a beautiful time to be a New Yorker. This is quite a ride the Knicks put us on, man. But I'm excited to be on the show. Excited to talk more Knicks.
Yes, yes. And for the audience who don't know, EJ just got married, so I just want to say congratulations again to you and the wife. So congrats.
Thank you,
You got 2 rings this year.
Exactly. Yeah. I was telling people, man, I'm like, June might be the biggest month of my life. I might get 2 rings, and the fact that it happened this way, it could only have happened this way. That's kind of how I looked at it. It had to be this way because lo and behold, on both ends, there's been a lot of chaos in terms of trying to get to this moment. So to get there at the same time in the same week, basically, was crazy.
Yeah. I want to start off by asking you, what does being a Knicks fan mean to you?
Being a Knicks fan, whew, being a Knicks fan to me, what I've talked about a lot of late. It's something that I don't think I really realized until my adult years, and maybe social media has helped with it. But I think being a Knicks fan is being a part of community, and I've used that word community a ton, and that's kind of why, like, I've seen so many of the fans I've gotten emotional over the Knicks, at various points, winning, whether it's the conference finals, winning the NBA championship. And I know for me, it felt like the moments that were most emotional for me. I can't remember the last time I cried over a team I watched winning anything. And now I'm a Mets and Jets fan, so that's not much to cry over. A lot of crying, but in a negative way, not in happy tears. But to me, it was always whenever I saw like the wide shots of just crowds going crazy. Shout out to the guy, I forgot his name on top of my head, but the guy on MSG who was at Radio City when they won the Eastern Conference Finals. The morning after, I'm watching the video and I'm in my bed crying because he's going crazy. The crowd behind him is just delirious, talking about the Knicks going to the finals for the first time since 1999. And I think what I realized as I got older, that there is so many of us, not just even in New York City, but just as we saw with the Knicks and how they were able to travel and fans being everywhere. There's so many of us who have suffered through so much. There are now generations that have their own era of Knicks suffering. If you grew up like my dad, where you really lived with the team with the 80s, then you knew what it was like to see Bernard King blow up his knee and, Patrick Ewing come in and hope to be the savior, and to see those teams kind of languish in mediocrity. If you grew up with the team in the 90s, you saw Charles Smith get blocked at the rim 3-4 times in a row by the Bulls. You saw Reggie Miller. You saw
that shit still pisses me off.
Right. You see those things. You saw, for me, my era is like the late 90s teams with Spree and Houston. So, you saw losing to the Spurs because Patrick Ewing can't get out there because he's too hurt. And then you saw then all of us have now endured. If you're a younger fan, you saw the Isaiah years, you saw the Layden years, you saw the Phil Jackson years. Like, we've all seen some level of suffering. Some, like my dad, have seen literally almost all of it. So I think to know that you're part of a community that is stuck with this franchise through a lot of negativity, a lot of tough times, and that you were able to still see what is special about this team, what's special about basketball in New York City, what's special about the Knicks. To me, to be a Knicks fan to me is about being a part of a community, and I think that has never been more prevalent than walking around the city, dressing people, "What's up, champ?" Knicks in 5. You see somebody in Knicks gear, you give them the point, they give you the point. It's just a special time, and a lot of that is because of what the community that's been established over generations now, and a lot of it's been generations of suffering.
Nah, yeah, a big part for me of like what it means to be a Knicks fan is just sticking through it through all the tough times. And it was something that as soon as the clock hit 0 in game 5, it was just like, man, like I wasn't crying, but I was more like it was like the last dance when Michael hit that shot against Cleveland and he was like, yes, he's like, now they gonna stop doubting us. It was kind of like that. But to see some of my other friends who are a little bit older than me, shout out to my boy Mike, he's been through all of it. So
Yeah,
I understand for like some of the guys that are older than me as fans, like breaking down, because it was like, bro, you ask any Knicks fan, they would tell you like, I never would have thought I would have seen us win a championship in my lifetime, ever.
yeah,
And even me, I'm 25. I'm about to turn
Mhm.
26 next week. Even I was saying this in high school. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna see the Knicks win a title, and that was me super young. So, um, it was definitely like seeing them like, damn, yo. And I remember living through that stretch because I was too young for like the Allen Houston, but like I've watched a lot of those games on like Hardwood Classics on the NBA app and stuff. I was too young for Marbury. I started becoming more of a fan when like Melo got there, the
Yeah.
Jeremy Lin era, and then from on. But even that stretch from 2013 post that playoff run and then not making the playoffs again until 2021,
Yeah.
even that part hurt me. Like I remember I tell people all the time, like I went my whole high school career with no Knicks playoffs. Like
Yeah.
that that shit was horrible. So and just every draft lottery falling down to the 8th pick,
Yep.
9th pick. We're supposed to get the first pick in 2019. We get third.
Yep.
And it was just frustrating. And I remember the summer of 2019 being at work when KD and Kyrie signed with the Nets. And that felt like rock bottom to me. So to get to
And
this point,
you're lucky because you you actually got to watch draft lotteries and have the Knicks in it. I'm watching during the Isaiah era, and they don't even have their first round pick. I'm watching those picks go to the Bulls, so they get Joakim Noah. I'm watching that pick go to the Portland Trailblazers. They get LaMarcus Aldridge. The Knicks had been in like salary cap and draft pick hell for like a 6-7 year period where they were consistently like just like you went through high school, never making the playoffs. I think I was in high school. I don't think Knicks never made the playoffs. I was in from 09 to 13. So yeah, there was no way they made the playoffs during that time. So like actually it was early in that 09. I was in high school with 05 to 09. So yeah, they didn't make the playoffs during that time. So like I like those teams, they didn't even have a draft pick. They had traded them for Eddie Curry, Jamal Crawford, some other overpaid guy who didn't work out. Like so you had nothing to look forward to. Like there was like you were looking at the abyss, which is why they went into the whole summer of LeBron thing because they're listen, let's just clear all the cap space and see if we can get LeBron James. And then that that was, you want to talk about rock bottom feud, that KD Kyrie thing. I lived through the decision when you felt like the momentum heading into the offseason that LeBron was going to go to the Knicks, and you saw it slowly shift to Miami, and then he makes a decision to go to Miami, and you're like, what now? Shout out to Amari though. Amari tried to hold down. He held down as much as he could, and Melo came, so it didn't end up as bad as it could have been. But I remember that being a moment where I was like, wow, I don't know when this thing's gonna turn around.
Yeah, and just to add on even more, it's like even going through all of that, a lot of us Knicks fans still sticking through it. I poked fun of a lot of fans the day after we won the chip. I did an episode with my friends, and I was like, being a Knicks fan is like one of one because like a lot of people don't know what it feels like because more people I talk to now, they're not even fans of teams. They're fans of players. They're like, oh, I don't got a team. I'm a LeBron fan.
Right.
And I just look at them and I'm just like, you don't go through any struggle dealing with that. So it's like being a Knicks fan is like you going through it, the ups and downs. But for us to get to this moment is like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm curious with New York City and with younger generations, like how much is that going to change now? Because I've seen that with young kids as well, that a lot of them don't really root for any team; they root for a certain player. And I had a conversation with my dad about this a couple of days last week, actually, at my wedding, and we were talking about the Knicks, and it's something that it's funny. Me and my dad, we have the same birthday, so we think a lot of the same things. Both sources. He's both born April 21st, obviously different years, of course, but he was mentioning something, and he was like, I just feel like we're gonna see like a basketball renaissance in New York City, where a lot of guys, New York City's always been a great place, a hotbed for great talent, but because of the Knicks winning a championship, the youth basketball scene, I expect to hit maybe levels they hadn't really seen maybe since like when I was playing when I was a kid, or like the 90s or 80s when he was growing up. And I say, you know what? I had a saved tweet in my drafts that I couldn't word correctly, and I just left it saved. I was like, I'll figure out a way to say it. But I wonder, because so many are just kind of just getting hopping the team to team. I wonder if you're going to see a new renaissance of Knicks fans among young kids, similar to what you saw in the 80s, where a lot of Mets fans that you see today that are like kind of like, late millennials or like people or Gen Xers, a lot of them Mets fans because of the 86 Mets. And that era, that sometimes the team defines the era of adults that end up becoming fans of certain teams. So I feel like what's happening with this team, it's going to really transform potentially the city forever.
Yeah. And I know this is going to be tough, but I wanted to ask you, what were your top 5 moments of the Knicks playoff run?
Top 5 moments. Do I rank them from 1 to 5? Because I can, but I do that, or is it just 5? If it's 5, I can definitely do easily. Ranking them,
if you want to rank them, you could.
I'll try to rank them. Okay, I'll try to rank them. I'm trying to go from 5 to 1, which actually is hard to do in my head, but I'm gonna try to do it. I think I know what number 1 is. So number 5. Actually, I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna give you 5, and I'm gonna try to rank them. I know I kind of have an idea what the moments are. Then I think I may have to order them once I do that. I know for a fact, because it's probably still my favorite moment, even though most people probably, I don't know, they definitely forget about it, but it's kind of fell down the pecking order after they won. Mitchell Robinson dunking on Embiid is definitely.
Yo, I just thought of that right now.
yeah, it's definitely top 5. And I'm somebody who, like, I have this weird code where I don't feel like I should wear merch for current NBA or current athletes, any athletes I cover. Ironically, my dad got me a Jalen Brunson jersey for my birthday, and I was kind of like, do you not know that I don't have this code? So what am I supposed to do? But I did wear it the day they won the title the next day. So I was like, this is the day to wear the jersey. But that shirt that went viral, the shirt of Mitch Robinson hanging over the rim with Embiid, look, I almost bought that shirt. Shout out to, I think it was Big Knicks Energy that had that shirt.
Yeah,
I almost bought the shirt because I was like, this might be the one where I got to just break the code, because I just feel like, for me, when you're with this team, you take every beef, every villain personally, and I still held animosity towards Joel Embiid because of how he ended Mitchell Robinson's season 2 years prior. So for Mitchell Robinson to get that come up and stuff like that, that is still, to me, still a top 5 moment. It really just kind of defined kind of what that series was going to be for the rest of the way. If there was any doubt that Philly was going to make that a series, that it was over at that point in time. So Mitchell Robinson's dunks in there. Obviously, OG's tip-in is in there. I would also put in Mitchell. So I think Mitchell Robinson has 2 moments. I think Mitchell Robinson put in Wemby under the rim for that offensive rebound. It's also in there. I think that's the defining play of the game that they won the championship. So Mitchell Robinson's got 2 in there. OG's got 1. I'm doing more. Jalen Brunson had a couple of moves. I don't know if they're top 5, but I remember he put Barlow on skates in that. I think it was game 4, and then later put it B. That was sick. I don't know if that makes top 5.
Oh, yes.
But that to me, that's going to be that game. I said in that game, I was like, this game, I think every Knick player is going to have a play in this game that's going to be in that highlight reel forever. I think Mitchell Robinson also had the dunk in that game. I think it was just like, there were just so many plays where I'm just like,
I think I know what you're talking about.
They look like an and one mix. He like crossed him like twice.
He's crossed him. I think I don't know if it's game 4.
And he circus layup against Embiid on the layup. It was just,
he crossed him, scored circus layup, and then somebody stole it. He got it back, hit a 3 in the corner.
Right, they hit a 3. Yeah,
I was at that game. I was at that
Oh my
game.
god, yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, I said the only thing that was missing was Duke Tango or somebody from N1 saying "Oh baby" on the mic, because that was like something I was seen from Rucker or someone that's something I seen from Dykeman or something. It was crazy. So I love that moment. I don't know if it's top 5. I kind of want to put also like Cat like deflecting the pass too. I think in Game 4.
Oh, when he
I
told the
think
fans
that
to come in. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's, I mean, to me, like that's a huge play. So I think I'd put that in there. So I think, am I at 5 at that point? So I got 2 Mitchell Robinson plays. I got OG's tip in. I got Cat, and I'm kind of leaning towards that Brunson move just because I think it's one of the best individual moves I've seen from a Knick. I love that play. Oh, but to be honest, another moment too that will make it. I'm gonna move this ahead of the Brunson play because this is again breaking the will of a team. I'm gonna go with like the Cavs stopped playing in Game 4. I don't remember like that. Like there was a play. The game is kind of still in the balance. They're down maybe 14, and they just
Game
didn't.
3,
Yeah,
and they let
maybe
JB
Game
get
3,
that
right?
layup.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just didn't
I
guard
remember.
anybody.
Yeah. I got
and I was
so
like,
angry. I got
I was
so
like,
angry at that.
I'm like, the Knicks just made this team quit. They rage quit like this was playing Call of Duty or something. Like,
And you want to know why I got angry at that? Because all year I had to hear how the Cavs were on the same level as the Knicks.
right.
Then they acquired James Harden, and it was like all of a sudden they were more favored than us to win the Eastern Conference. So when it got to that moment, I was like, I got angry, and I recorded a video. It was on my story, but it's gone now. But I was like, fuck the Cavs. You motherfuckers gave up. I was like, y'all suck. And it was just like pure anger because I'm like, you motherfuckers had the audacity to say this team was on our level, and they're not even fucking close. And I'm getting mad even thinking about it now. I'm gonna have to say it again because there's still a couple Cavs fans out there that like to talk shit. They are the fakest ECF team I might have ever seen.
I had a lot of Cavs fans in the videos I was posting about.
Yeah,
like,
because
they didn't understand why. Because I think I had Knicks in 6, and they were like I was delusional, and it's the funny thing about playoff matchups and content creation. I'm sure you've seen it. Is that like teams that you don't typically that I don't consider the Cavs a rival. I don't really care about Cavs fans or Spurs fans. They were the ones that were like most like aggressive. And I'm like, I don't even like, I hate the Sixers. I hate the Celtics. I hate the Pacers. Like, there are certain there's certain teams that you grow up with. I'm like, I don't even have this animosity for you. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen. And to see both those teams lose in like, ironically, kind of the ways I thought they would lose, but worse, was so fascinating. But yeah, the Cavs thing was funny too. Was as an organization, I thought what was so awesome about that the Knicks beating them was the Cavs for years mentioned about how when they lost the Knicks a couple of years ago in like 23, how that like it was like a organization defining loss for them, and that a lot of the moves they made, a lot of the coaching changes they made, a lot of that stemmed from how they felt like they got punked by the Knicks in a series they were well favored to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of that momentum to the Cavs winning this one was that, okay, they learned from 3 years ago. And it turned out like this was way worse than what happened.
This was
3 years
worse.
ago. I mean, they got destroyed. They blew a huge game 1, and then the other games were non-competitive. Essentially, this was way worse than what happened 3 years ago. So it was funny just to see, like, for the fans and the organization, so much of like, you guys got us 3 years ago, but like we've been revving up for this moment, and now we're ready, and now we have Harden, and it was like a wet fart. It was just could not have gone worse for the Cavs and their fans in terms of how that series went.
Nah, man. I don't remember how much you had left in your top 5.
I think that's it. So I think that's 5. So I think because I'm gonna put the Cavs rage quitting because that was insane.
That was insane.
That was insane. So I will say OG tip in 1. I'll put Mitch putting Wemby under the rim 2. I'll do Cat deflection 3. I'll do Mitch lob over Embiid 4, and then I'll do the Cavs rage quit 5. That would be my top 5 moments from the Knicks postseason run.
I'm thinking about mine. Like, mine would have to be. I'm going no order right now, and then maybe at the end I could try
Yeah.
to order it. Obviously, OG's Tippin is in there.
Right.
Watching that game live was insane.
Yeah.
I want to say, man, JB's fourth quarter versus the Cavs, that was amazing.
Yeah,
Like him just walking down James Harden every single possession.
Yeah.
And then slowly, like, I remember when we were down, I didn't like turn away from the game, but I was just like on my phone and I was just like, all right, I guess we lost today. And then I hear Mike Breen in the background, like, Brunson cuts it down to 15. And it's 13. And it's 11. And then I'm like, all right. I was like, let me start watching. And then he hits that one where he's like off balance like that, off the glass. I'm like, I don't know how he made that shit. And then it's 8. And then when he hits the three on Harden.
Ball. Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Rich Jefferson saying if he hits a bucket here, they're gonna have to call a timeout. And
you knew it was coming. He loves that
Yeah.
3 from the wing right there. And I was like, yeah, I was screaming like crazy. I was like, yeah, you got us fucked up. And I wasn't even safe. I didn't even feel safe at one point when Cat pulled Jared Allen's jersey. Gosh. I was like, oh, we lost. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then that Sam Merrill 3 that went in and I really thought he was gonna make that.
Yeah. And
I was like, bro, this was insane. But that whole JB fourth quarter takeover was insane. Some of those moments, you also got to remember, like, Mikal Bridges hit 2 big threes in there. He hit one in the corner, and then he hit that one at the end of the shot clock. I was like, holy. And then Shamet hit 2 big threes at the end, too. So,
and that was that game really showed, I thought, Mike Brown's strength because, that was a game where he went to Shamet late because Josh Hart was not playing well, and they were not guarding him. He wasn't making shots. And that Shamet adjustment, just like the Alvarado adjustment in Game 4 in the finals, like, I thought, to me, that just spoke to what his strength was as a coach, was being able to adapt on the fly. Because if Shamet doesn't come into that game, or Alvarado doesn't come into that game to play alongside Brunson in Game 4 in San Antonio, like, listen, the Knicks won those series comfortably. Maybe they still win a title, but it may have been a different story in terms of how they got there.
Yeah, and it's great that you brought that up because that might be a honorable mention moment. Game 2 of that same series. I told everybody before the game, bet any money you have on Josh Hart threes, Josh Hart points, rebounds, and assists, and then he goes out. I think he started the game off like 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 for 3. And I was like, all right. I was like, here we go. I'm like, and then he just started waking up. And then he had the best game ever. He hit like 6 threes in that game.
Yeah, I believe that was his playoff career high, whatever he had, 28 or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. And I was like, yeah, I told you guys. I'm like, Josh Hart is going to wake up today. But that was a great moment. It wasn't a specific moment, but I guess the game itself for this specific player, that Game 4 in Atlanta, that Cat triple-double.
Oh, yeah.
That was big time.
Huge.
That was huge. Because I remember going into that game, I was like, I wasn't in panic mode, but I was like, our season could be over tonight.
Right.
And I was like, so I was more interested to see, like, how will we respond as a team? I'm like, I'm confident JB will be fine.
Yeah.
Even though all of Knicks Twitter was like, oh, you can't win with a small guard. Like, the honeymoon stage was over with him after Game 3.
Yeah.
And I remember I have a video still up saying, like, I'll never give up on the captain, like, no matter what happens.
You're right too.
And I posted Mikal Bridges because that was after the 0-point game, and I was like, how are you gonna respond? I'm like, I'm not gonna make fun of you like every other Knicks fan is right now. Like, how are you gonna respond? And Cat just started going crazy in that game. Like, it was kind of like, it wasn't like a loud game for Cat, but it was a very decisive and sharp game from him.
Yeah.
And you could see, like, nobody was fucking with Cat. Like, he was able to do whatever he wanted. He was just dicing up the Hawks defense with ease. You look up and it was like, holy shit. 17 points, 19 rebounds, 9 assists. And then it was just kept piling on. And that was like the message going forward. Like, holy shit. Like, we might have woke something up. And for me as a Knicks fan, I was like, I had to see it a couple more times before I was like, because at first I'm like, all right, sign of desperation. I didn't have the wherewithal to think this is where the flip switches, and now we are going to become an all-time team. I don't think any Knicks fan thought that. For me, it didn't. For me, it wasn't until Game 3 versus Philly where I was like, "This is like some special shit right now that we're watching." So yeah, that Cat Game 4 in Atlanta was big time. I'm trying to think of another one. I'm gonna go Game 2 versus the Spurs.
Okay.
That was
Oh, so you want to do like the blunder from Wemby and Castle?
Man, when Wemby threw that ball,
I kind of forgot about that moment.
When Wemby threw the ball off of Castle's back, me and my friends were jumping up and down like, holy shit. But just that game, that game totality was like, wow, Tony Brothers is really trying to give this game to the Spurs. And it was so blatant. And I love how everybody on Twitter that wasn't even Knicks fans were like, wow, this is obvious what they're trying to do. And Brunson was horrible in that game. Cat was big time in that game. He had that dunk on Wemby, and Mikal Bridges stepped up big time in that game. Shamet hit some big shots. OG has some moments. I felt like just walking out of that game was like it was like they tried to give that game to the Spurs, and we still walked out of that. That was just like the roller coaster of emotions in that game was just like insane. And seeing Wemby choke the game away like that, I was like so fired up. I remember right after the game, I was like, never compare him to Michael Jordan. Never compare him to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I was like, he'll never beat any of those guys. I'm like, he's 7'5". He's not that good.
When that ball was in the air and like it's like that was that play I just feel like was in slow motion. Like the ball was in the air and like me having to watching the game and realizing Castle's back is turned. It probably sounded like I was having a stroke. I was like, ball, like somebody and Brunson obviously had the wherewithal to immediately get after the rock. But that ball I felt like, and I've seen it in slow motion, but even when it felt like the ball was in the air for 10 seconds. I was like, oh my God, there's a steal here. Like this is a play for the Knicks to get a chance to win the game. Yeah, that game was that this run is just there's so many games and moments that like you end up kind of forgetting because I kind of forgot that game. I'll be honest. Until you mentioned Game 2, I was like, Game 2, what happened in Game 2? I was like, oh, that's right. Knicks were leading, and then they almost gave up the lead, and then they had a chance to go ahead and Wemby threw the ball away. Oh my God, yeah. That's definitely wow. What a run! I mean, it's like again, you can mention you mentioned the Hawks game again with Cat and the triple double, and that really being like the start of this. I remember before that game, I posted a video where I said I was like, because Cat was playing well before that, and OG was playing great the whole series. And I was like, Jalen Brunson doesn't have to be the best player in the series for them to beat this team. Like I was like, in fact, that maybe the only way the Hawks can even compete is if Brunson is like trying too hard to like try to like one up Dyson Daniels. And then the next game, Cat has a triple double. And then that series kind of became the Cat series where it was him playing out of that high post, Dyson up defense, and getting Jalen Brunson a lot of open looks. And his numbers went back up because he started to get into a rhythm because he wasn't having to play, basically a 94 feet game with an elite defender. And that was like, you're right. Like a lot of people, I don't think at the time knew it was the turning point to a championship, but there's no question that was the turning point. Because they basically went almost a month of basketball until the Spurs series where they just didn't have a competitive game except for one game against Philly where Embiid didn't play and it was kind of close on the stretch, and then the game where they came back against Cleveland.
And it's crazy I said that because after we beat Atlanta in Game 6, I bet the Knicks to make the finals.
I'm annoyed I didn't because I picked the Knicks for the year to win a championship. I'm annoyed I didn't put money down to just go all in.
The Knicks made me a lot of money in this playoffs.
I know, and the whole time, like, I should be gambling during this entire time. I'm not really a huge gambler, but I will dabble every now and then. I'm like, I should be gambling because, like, everything I'm saying that's happening is happening. Why won't I just put money on it? But then part of me is like, I'm the crazy fan, though. I am one of those people that are superstitious when it comes to, like, not upsetting the apple cart. Like, I almost didn't invite my friends over to watch Game 5 of the finals because nobody had been to my crib to watch any playoff games this year. Like, I'd watch every game I watched. I didn't go to any watch parties. only my girl was here. Only now my wife, my former fiance. Like that's the only person who was there with me during these games, and like, you know, I almost didn't invite my friends. I was like, yo, I don't want to mess up the apple cart. So part of me not gambling, I think also was my subconscious was like, listen, I haven't bet anything. Throughout this entire playoffs. Let me just let this thing rock, and I won't win any money, but I'll win a lot of, you know, sentimental feelings if they win the title. So I don't regret it, but sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should have done something. Maybe that would have happened. Who knows?
Yeah, I had that too this year. Shout out to my boy Mike. Every time me and him went out and watched the game, the Knicks did not lose.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember we all went out as a group for game 1 versus the Hawks. Then we didn't go out for game 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We went out again for game 4. We went out for game 3 versus Philly. We went to the game 4, in Philly. I think we went to a watch party for game 3 and 4 of the Cavs. And then the finals, I think we went out for game 2 and game 5. So it was like every single time we had went out, we won. And I think my last moment out of the top 5, it'd have to be game 5, the Brunson masterclass.
Right.
I felt like that was like the stamp to like everybody. Because everybody was like, oh, Cat's the finals MVP after the first 2 games. Then it was, oh, OG's got to be the finals MVP. And I had people at work that are Knicks fans, but they hate Jalen Brunson. I'm like, I don't know how you're not a Knicks fan. But they were like, oh, OG is the finals MVP. And I'm like, no, bro. Like, that's like, he was the MVP for that game, but he's not the finals MVP. And then watching that game 5, like even in real time, I was like no, I was telling the people next to me, I'm like, yo, no disrespect to OG, but like, you see what he's doing right now, like,
he's carrying
and like he's the only one that had it going that night. And I was like, you guys can't jump the gun so early on this finals MVP shit, because he's been doing this, like, whether it's a great game, bad game. And listen, I'm not the type of guy that's like, Brunson could do no wrong. I will call him out. Like, I don't go to the extreme like some people, but like, I'll be like, yo, that was a bad shot. I'm like, JB's playing like shit. I said that multiple times in game 2, even in game 1. But time and time again, like, I tell everybody, I'm like, yo, Jalen Brunson could start the game off 1 for 6, and I would still want the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter. Because he shows up every single time. And game 5 was finally that game where, like, we got the vintage game. And I told my boy Mike right next to me, I was like, this is his first 40 ball of the playoffs. Usually he spoils us with 40 balls.
Yeah, we had it in the first round by now. But then,
yeah. But now, he waited to the finals to give us this. So, yeah, watching that and, like, him just shutting everybody up.
I know.
And I was like, yo, he literally gave us a Michael Jordan performance.
Yeah. I've said that was the closest thing to Michael Jordan you'll see. Like, on the road, you don't got, the referees didn't want to let Cat play, basically. So he was, not out there on the floor for most of the game. No one else really had it going, and he had to put the team on his back. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, too, because I agree. Like, I think throughout that finals, the only thing that was missing was the vintage Jalen Brunson game. Like, he had a huge statistical game in game 4, but it became the OG game because of the block and the tip in. And OG also had 33 points himself. But like, it wasn't like we've seen those games that Jalen Brunson has had so many times during his run as, the captain. But you hadn't really seen it quite yet in the finals, where it was like everything's on the line, no one else has got to go, and he's just putting the team squarely on his back, really kind of alone offensively. And it's gonna go down as one of the best singular performances in New York sports history, and first of all, in NBA Finals history, just in the NBA. But I mean, I think even if you take away that, you think about, I mentioned like Reggie Jackson's 3 home runs in the World Series, Eli Manning, the catch with what's it called, David Tyree, like all those plays and moments, like Jalen Brunson's game 5 performance. We talk about Clyde's game 7 back in 70, like. Oh, that is now right up there. You have to put it right near the top, because that was incredible.
That ties into my next question for you. Where does Jalen Brunson rank in the NBA right now?
Ooh, So to me, here's how I would rank. Here's are the guys who I would rank ahead of him. There's not many,
Okay.
but I would still put Shea, and I would still put Jokic. And to be honest, after that, it's hard for me to find another guy I'm ranking ahead of Jalen Brunson going into next season. I think because what I hate about sometimes when we do these rankings, so somebody say, "What about Wemby? What about some of these guys that play two ways?" Like, to me, basketball two-way value is important, but basketball isn't like it's not baseball where it's not like Shohei Ohtani where it's like this guy is unreal because he's like the actual pitcher and then he's also hitting 40 to 50 home runs a year. It's different in the sense that like the offensive, if you're a great offensive player, your value can be outsized whatever your defensive liabilities are. So when people don't want to put Jalen Brunson that high because they say, well, he's not good defensively, I'm like, but I think you're undervaluing how great he is offensively, and you're undervaluing that he's a point guard, which is the hardest position to play, which means he has to run the offense and get everybody involved. I know some people argue he doesn't do it enough, but like there's that aspect of it that is different. So like I sometimes the two, and I'm all about like giving credit to two-way players, but I think the reason why some people maybe won't put Brunson in their top 3 or 4 is because they say, well, he doesn't play defense. Like maybe like, Shea isn't like a all NBA defender, but he's a good defender. Wemby's obviously an all world defender. Jokic isn't, but there are other guys that maybe they'll put up ahead of him. I'm like, but the guy is the best point guard in the NBA, and he's like a killer offensively, and he's a clutch player. That's the other thing. Like clutch scoring also is like, to me, can outsize your value based on whatever you do defensively that isn't
To
great.
me,
So,
that matters a lot.
right. So when I think of ranking players, like that's huge. So I felt that Jokic and Shea have been like 1 and 2. I had Shea 1, Jokic 2. And I think at this point in time, you'd have to put Jalen Brunson 3 to me. You can't put Wemby ahead of him. I just watched the series when Wemby seemed to run out of gas. Didn't seem to have the right mentality or approach to an NBA Finals series. And he's got to show me that he is at that level and he can perform at the highest of levels until I can put him there. So then, I'm always running to the guys either who are uber talented or won championships. So am I going to put Luka there? I saw Luka in the finals. He just looked out of shape and ran out of gas. I haven't seen Anthony Edwards get there yet. Giannis, I think, is kind of taking some steps back. So, he may be small, but to me, you got to look at him right now as a top 3 player in the league.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that Wemby thing because I told a bunch of people, I'm like, yo, I don't care that he's 22. I don't care because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, year 2, he was winning the NBA Finals. Larry Bird in year 2 was winning the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan at his age, even though he lost in the first round, he was going toe-to-toe with the best player in the NBA at that point.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even a debate. And even Larry Bird said himself, that is Jesus Christ disguised as Michael Jordan. So I didn't want to hear the age excuse at all. Like Magic Johnson at 20 years old was putting up all-time historic performances. And you are dubbed and touted as that same next thing, and you didn't even come close. Like, you got outplayed by Jalen Brunson. So save me the age stuff. I don't want to hear it. Save me the experience stuff. When you're getting outplayed by the guy that a lot of people disregard as like, he's barely top 10. He's not even top 15. When you're getting outplayed by that dude, save me the inexperienced shit, please.
And I just think on Wemby too, the inexperience to me is also why I don't rank him that high, because I feel like, and I said this, and again, I had Spurs fans who suddenly disappeared. The funniest thing too, which I don't know if you saw, was I loved seeing the people who would bookmark my posts throughout the thing talking about why the Cavs are going to lose or why the Spurs are going to lose, expecting that they would then come back to talk about it, and never seeing those receipts ever come back because there was no need to go back to it. But I remember one of the posts I made about how, Wemby during that finals, they lost game 1. He's like, we have nothing to worry about. Like, all we have to do is just play normal in order to beat this team. And I'm like, that's just not a guy who has the right approach to win an NBA championship. And I got a lot of people saying, oh, you don't understand Wemby. You don't understand this new Spurs team. This is a cocky team. This is how they are. And I'm like, the NBA finals, I've seen so many guys talk about this. Like the amount of exhaustion you put your body through to win an NBA championship cannot really be explained. Like Richard Jefferson talked about this a ton. Like, because the coaching is so high, the scouting is so high, the effort level is so high that if you're coming in with a casual attitude about how you have to approach winning NBA Finals games to say you quote unquote all you have to do is play normal, to me, I was like, that's not a guy who has the right mentality. Now, maybe he has to lose to learn, and maybe next year he'll show that he is one of those guys. And there are plenty of guys who had to lose to understand what it was. Wayne Gretzky, one of my favorite sports stories is Wayne Gretzky tells a story about when he lost his first championship, when he was in the NHL, he lost to the Islanders. And, he's like, I thought I had a good series. I played hard, but we lost. But, it was fun. You live and learn. I wanted to walk over and congratulate the guys in the locker room. I already shook their hands on the ice, but I wanted to go and shake their hands also in the locker room. And I walked by, and, our locker room, we were sad. We were obviously disappointed, whatever, but, we felt good. We felt like, man, if we could have won this game, we could have continued the series. Because I went into the Islanders locker room, and these guys are hunched over. They're almost barely celebrating because how tired they are. Like, and he's like, I realized that, like, to be a champion, you have to tap into a level of competitiveness and effort that you have not tapped into before. And the Islanders were a team that had won championships before. This was, I think, their third or fourth in a row at that time. I looked at that locker room and I said, oh, we're not going to win a title until our locker room looks like that at the end of the series. And that's what I kept thinking in my head when I heard Wemby talk about we just got to be ourselves and just play normal. I'm like, this guy, he doesn't understand what championship level sports competition is. He's a great player, a great talent, but he's gonna have to learn. He's got to lose to learn, and I think that's what happened. I think he lost, and then we'll have to see if he's able to reach that level now that he's learned.
And then even when they were down, or after they went down 3-1, he had that comment saying, "Everybody knows we're gonna come back from 3-1."
Everybody's gonna come back. It's just the arrogance.
Yeah, and it felt like that was a theme throughout the entire Knicks playoff run. It felt like the more the Knicks kept winning, the first like 2 games of the series would be like, oh, we just let that slip away. We're the better the Cavs series, like Kenny Atkinson said, oh, analytically we're up 2-1. James Harden after the series was like, oh, we felt like we were the better team. It just felt like backhand compliment after backhand compliment, and I was like, I'm not even like, this isn't new to me because we're Knicks fans, so I'm expecting shit like that. But that's why getting the championship was like great because I wanted that respect. That was more so my reaction when we won. It was like LeBron when he finally won. He was like, it's about damn time. Like, I want my respect.
Right, yeah.
But in terms of the ranking in the NBA, for me, I would still have Jokic up. Shea, I kind of went back and forth on because I was like, Shea played that same Spurs defense and looked a whole lot worse. But I do have to give credit to Shea for what he does throughout the entirety of an 82 game season. Not to say that Brunson doesn't, but like, it's just the sustainability of his MVP level greatness throughout an 82 game season that Brunson can give you like in spurts and certain stretches of games throughout the regular season, but you see it more throughout the playoffs with Brunson than you do from Shea. So I guess in that sense, it's more of like, all right, it's recency. We just saw Brunson do it in the playoffs. But like like another argument for Brunson though is like, he's been better in the playoffs than Shea to me in the last 3 years.
Yeah, there's been nobody better in the NBA playoffs.
There's been nobody better than Brunson in the NBA. So, like, it's tough, and it sounds outlandish to say like, oh, he's better than Shea, but like, yo, I can't ignore what Brunson's done in the last 3 playoffs. Obviously, what Shea's done in the last 2 or 3 regular seasons has been great, back-to-back MVP.
Yeah,
but it's tough. I mean, I don't know. And then I'm sorry, I can't put Wemby over Brunson after watching that finals.
No, I can't.
Shout out to Nick Wright, because even he said, he's like, I don't know how we all could have watched that finals and come to the conclusion that Wemby's better than Brunson, because
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
And then the one guy I have trouble with is Luka.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of people like to write off Luka and stuff, and how he played in the finals 2 years ago, I feel like we kind of forget how much of a bad man Luka Doncic is.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Yeah.
He is a bad fucking dude.
I feel like Luka, I feel like he gets almost like he's now, I think, starting now that he's a Laker, I think he kind of gets outsized criticism for like who he is as a player. Because like being, I'm following the whole NBA, but obviously I'm following Knicks closest. But like sometimes the way like Luka Doncic and the Lakers are being spoken about, you would have thought that was a 500 team and he was having the worst year of his career. And then you look at the team, it's like, oh, third in the West, and you look at the numbers, oh, he's averaging basically 38-8, basically. Like, I'm like, what is this? Where? And it's like, well, this night he got upset and got ejected, or that night he didn't play defense, and like it becomes big. And I'm not saying that like he doesn't have defensive issues or weight issues, at least in his career, he has. But it seems like almost like ever since he got to the Lakers, it almost seems like the negativity has been more intense. When I'm like, this year was one of the best years of his career, and I feel like I would have loved to have seen what would have happened in that series with the Thunder if he was healthy. Like the Thunder we now know were much more beatable than maybe we expected without Jalen Williams healthy. They didn't have Jalen Williams much of that series against the Lakers. So like Luka, like you said, is a bad man. He's one of the toughest covers, and similar thing where we talk about, okay, he doesn't play defense, but if your offense is that good, it outsizes the value of you as a player, even if you're not a great defender. So I agree, Luka is serious. But those to me are the four guys, I think. And maybe Anthony Edwards, maybe you want to throw a fifth guy in there.
I'm sorry, I love Ed, but I'm like, yo, nah.
He's just on a team that's so not.
Let me tell you something. I'm not putting a dude over over Jalen Brunson because they are taller and because they are more athletically gifted. Because that's what people want to do with Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham. I'm like, why do you think those guys are better? Because they're two-way, they play defense. Yeah, because they're bigger and more athletic. Like that's the reason why. Jalen Brunson, it's not like he doesn't try on defense. He tries. He's just super fucking small. Yeah. And I've seen him in possessions locking up James Harden. Yeah. In this finals, he had a couple games with like 2 steals, 5 steals. So it's like he gets after it. He unfortunately is just he's small.
I also thought, like, to me, I think one of the most like not talked about things about this Knicks run, I think, was actually Jalen Brunson's improved defense, because I remember I did on Jabublaz after game 3, and I kind of crushed Jalen. Not the offensive game wasn't great, but I kind of crushed him for his defense. So I'm like, I mentioned, because one of my all-time favorite players are Steph Curry and Dirk Nowitzki, and I talked about how like I watched those guys get exposed defensively, and at a certain point they just had to learn that they could not be like a liability. And I'm watching CJ McCollum basically act like he's Jordan at the Garden, and I'm like, and he's picking on Brunson. I'm like, Jalen, like, I'm not saying you got to be a stopper, but like, you can't have a CJ McCollum type, who I love, by the way. I've always been a huge CJ McCollum fan, but like, you can't have that kind of guy come into the Garden and be the best player on the floor 3 games in a row. Like that's insane. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, at a certain point, like the greats, like we all think you're one of those greats, the all-time greats, they take the challenge defensively to at least not be a liability. I thought it kind of stemmed also from the Indiana series, where Indiana basically got all of their money off of just hunting him in towns for an entire series. I was like, he's got to take the challenge to not allow himself to be on switches easily. He's got to take the challenge when he does get switched to actually guard up. You didn't hear a peep about Jalen Brunson's defense the rest of the series, rest of the playoffs, because he gave better effort. He didn't allow himself to get switched on as easy. It was like teams were trying to hunt him. It just wasn't as easy. First of all, Bridges and Hart and those guys did a better job, I think, of also not putting them on islands and fighting through screens. But he also hedged much harder. He gave more effort on that end. And then when he was matched up one-on-one, you mentioned those one-on-one matches with Harden where he was able to hold his own, similar to what Curry did in Game 7 against Houston. What was that? 17, 18, whatever that year was when they beat Houston in Game 7, where they were going mano. Basically, they kept just trying to hunt Curry every play. I saw Dirk having to guard one-on-one LeBron and Wade and Bosh on switches and things like that, and him being able to hold his own. Brunson reached that level defensively, but it's because there was so much insanity about this Knicks run that like there are things that just people don't even think about or they don't even mention. But like I remember like just being really frustrated by Jalen's defense in the first 3 games, and then just that never being an issue anymore because he just gave much better effort, and the Knicks became a different team defensively because of that.
Yeah, and back on Luka real quick, like
Yeah,
I feel like he's the one dude where like clutch situation, I trust him to deliver. The passing between, I mean, obviously Jokic and him are probably like top of the top, but Jokic better passer than Shea. I mean, Luka's a better passer than Shea. Luka's a better passer than Brunson. Um, the rebounding as well, and obviously
yeah,
the defense isn't great, but the offense outweighs what he gives you defensively. I just feel like Luka's one of those guys where like kind of like Jalen, if he doesn't have it going, I still trust that dude to
right.
figure it out throughout a game. And I guess the one difference between Luka and Jalen is just, I mean, yeah, Luka can't really control his temper, and
Yeah,
that'll cost him. Like that game 3 versus Boston 2 years ago, that was a winnable game,
yeah,
and
no
he
question.
completely like took himself out of that game,
Yeah,
and it cost the Mavericks. And Jalen is more like he very rarely gets like emotional unless it's like game 1 is of the finals is where we saw it the most with the missed
right. Yeah,
calls and he was
he
getting
ran
scoff
after
out
the
his
guy.
face. But like
Yeah,
very rarely do we see him like lose his shit. And thank God that we have Rick Brunson on the roster to tell him to shut the fuck up,
I know.
because
Yeah,
that does wonders. But that's probably really like the only like difference between them. Like Jalen could continue to stay locked in even throughout um any adversity throughout the game. I feel
and
like
I think
Luka
what
could
we
do it at times, but it's a little different with Jalen.
I think there's one thing that Jalen showed that Luka's gonna have to show, which is, and it's something that Jalen, like you probably talked about, like has been criticized about, is again the Knicks offense basically changed mid postseason where it became more of a cat offense and Jalen had to play off the ball. And there was questions about whether or not Jalen could actually be effective off the ball. I always thought because he's a great shooter and because like he's a smart player, like he actually be brilliant off the ball if he actually committed to it. But it's gotta be a want to. And he showed the unselfishness, or even not even unselfishness, because he still got his shots, but just the wherewithal to understand that the offense didn't have to start with him pounding the rock into oblivion. What we have not seen from Luka has been that willingness to say, you know what, like maybe it is okay for me to play off the ball, move without the ball. It seems like if you're gonna win with Luka as your best player, it's got to be him pounding it and being the guy, which he may just be good enough to do it, right? LeBron basically was good enough to do it. Like there are plenty of guys that basically were able to be that guy. But I think that's one thing that we saw from Jalen that, which is why I would give an edge to Jalen too, is that okay, he actually had the wherewithal as a leader and as a teammate and as a captain to know, okay, we are going to have to change this offense. It is going to have to be more, cap getting me open and getting other guys open, and I'm okay with that. With Luka, we've never seen that, so
Yeah.
it's always been you guys watch me dribble, and I'm gonna get you the rock, and you make an open shot or you hit an alley. But it's still him. Is he willing to, adjust his game if he has to? Is something that I think is gonna be a question for his career.
Yeah. Next thing, we got the big Mitchell Robinson news. Obviously, Jose Alvarado was re-signed yesterday. It was 3 years, 14 mil.
Yeah, I think I saw 15, but yeah, something around there.
Yeah, something like that. Shout out to Jose. I said his jersey is gonna go triple platinum in the hood. Yeah, I know a lot of people
Yeah,
trying to get that jersey, but
that Puerto Rican Day parade. I'm sure it was just Alvarado jerseys till the end of time. And I'm happy he got to go out there because that was a special moment for him. Win a title and then go to the Puerto Rican Day parade.
But I wanted to ask you, what do you expect to happen with this Mitchell Robinson dilemma saga that's coming up now?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good if you want Mr. Robinson to be back. Quite frankly, like it sounds like like James Dolan, owner of the team, he went on the station I work at, WFAN, and he made it pretty clear that the Knicks don't want to be a second apron team, and if the Knicks aren't going to be a second apron team, then it's just going to be almost impossible to keep Mitchell Robinson. Like Mitchell Robinson is a guy who, in a league where a lot of people are looking for starting centers, he won an NBA championship and he had a lot of high visibility. and he's been an impact player for several years now. He's going to be a guy that his services are going to be asked for by good teams. So I don't expect him to be back just because of the reporting that's out there. I think that is a mistake. And, I've actually, the last 24 hours or so, I've been fighting Knicks fans who've been very upset at me for, making the case that, listen, like, nothing is, I didn't think anything could take me off of this championship high, but seeing that Mitchell Robinson is going to walk for nothing, essentially because they don't want to go in the second apron, is one of those things that has made me now turn a page to next season, being like, how are they going to address this? Because I don't think there's going to be a better option or an equal option to Mitchell Robinson who they bring in. If it's a Precious Achiuwa, if it's even a Kristaps Porzingis who has massive injury health issues, I don't even know if he wants to be back here. A lot of the names that I'm hearing, whoever it is it's not going to have the same impact, I think, as Mitchell Robinson. So that's going to be a blow. That's going to be something I have to overcome. And if Mitchell Robinson is not going to be here, it makes you wonder if Landry Shamet's going to be here. He's also an unrestricted free agent. The guy did not maybe shoot the best during the NBA Finals, but he was shooting like 90% from three, basically, for the playoffs up until the NBA Finals. Like, that's a guy in a league where everybody's looking for shooting that he's going to get a nice contract offer from somebody. Is he going to take a pay cut or not pay cut, but is he going to take less money to stay in New York? Like, those are big questions. So the Mitchell Robinson thing, I think if you're looking to ahead to next season, is a concern. Now, he's not a perfect player. Like, he can't make free throws. He's not someone that really can create his own offense. So there's maybe some upside that maybe you could find guys who won't have those liabilities. But I think
he also can't play a ton of minutes.
Right. And then he can't play back-to-backs. He can't play really more than 20 minutes without you feeling like he may get hurt. So he has severe limitations. I guess the problem is if you're not willing to go across the second apron, whoever you get, I just don't know if like the upside is going to be that much higher than whatever Mitchell Robinson gives you, despite those imperfections. Yeah. So that's really my concern with the whole Mitchell Robinson situation.
I mean, it's kind of bittersweet because I see both sides of like, you wanting to keep Mitchell Robinson is going to be hard to replace him, which I do agree with. But at the same time, it's like a lot of the questions around him. And like, I understand, like, to a certain extent, like, I don't want to have to pay him. And it's like, he can't play back-to-backs. Mm-hmm. You're lucky if he plays 60 games. He could barely play 20 minutes. And it's a lot. There's a lot of limitations there. Yeah. And I don't want to have to pay that much money for a guy that's like, but at the same time, he was big. That like we probably don't win Game 5 without that rebound.
Right. Exactly.
And I would love to keep him because he's the longest tenured Knick. Right. I would want to see him retire here. But that just goes to show like how cutthroat the NBA is. Like, we just won a championship and now we're like, yeah, good luck, buddy. Like, we're not bringing you back. Thanks for everything. But like, it's really the honest question you have to have. Like, when you really sit back and think about like all the holes in Mitchell Robinson's game, I'm not necessarily mad at them for deciding like not to go in that direction. It hurts. Like, it's gonna suck to see Mitchell Robinson on another team. But
yeah,
I mean, I did see some reports that I don't know how they're gonna make it happen, but they're interested in Moussa Diabate. I mean, that would be something I would like if they were able to bring him in. I've always liked Yves Missi from the Pelicans. I think Leon Rose has as well. If there was a way they could bring in him and Sadiq Bey, I'll probably forget about Mitchell Robinson in a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's a Lakers fan. He's like, oh, we're gonna get Mitchell Robinson from you guys, and he's gonna be our starting center. I'm like, I might laugh at you for doing that because you're gonna pay him a shit ton. He can't be a starting center.
Yeah, it's like you better have a really good backup.
Yeah, like he has to be like as a backup, he's one of the better backups. But if you're relying on him to be your starter, good luck.
Yeah, he's somebody that has to be like basically we've seen his value the last 3 years or so. Where like if he's in a tandem with another big who's a starting level big, he's great. Like him and Ihart, like that was a great tandem when Mitch was healthy, and him obviously with Cam Towns last 2 years has been a great tandem. With someone be able to take the larger brunt of the minutes and larger brunt of the amount of games being played. You could keep him on a pitch count, then he's great. If you're the Lakers, the Lakers, I mean, JJ Redick, I didn't think he'd make it through the season, dealing with Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton. I mean, it like seeing just the frustration with dealing with two guys that aren't. I don't look at them as high basketball IQ players, guys who have a lot of issues. And so they're so desperate for center that they're saying they're not really. I don't know if they're really looking at the limitation of Mitchell Robinson. And listen, we have DeAndre Ayton, who sometimes acts like he doesn't want to play basketball. Jackson Hayes is also a guy who's on another planet. It seems like half time he's on the court. We get Mitchell Robinson, who has a championship, who plays so hard and great on defense, great on the glass. Like we could be a special team. It's like, yeah, but you're gonna have to have another center who's gonna be able to play a lot of minutes and start and do that. Because if he's your answer, and you think that you're just done at that position, then you're sorely mistaken just because of those limitations you mentioned.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And then Landry Shamet, man, I don't blame him if he leaves in free agency. He's a dude that he's been getting it out the mud throughout his entire NBA career. So
yeah,
and we've been able to get him for the cheap these last 2 years. So
2 veteran minimum contracts in a row.
Listen, I'll say this: if we didn't win the championship, both of these losses would hurt way more.
Yeah,
but the fact that we won, I'm like, yo, listen, go get your bag. Like Mitch, you want to go get your bag? I don't blame you. Shamit, you want to go get your bag? I don't blame you. We got the chip. Nobody could take that away from us ever. Obviously, I would love our best chances to defend the title, which I still very well think we could do if we make the right moves. Feels like the East is in shambles right now, though. Ever since we won the chip, teams are just like, "What the fuck?" They are
scrambling. Yeah, I mean the Boston situation is just
crazy.
I think that they're in a lot of trouble if they have Jaylen Brown.
Miami, even with Giannis, that team is not a contender right now. I don't care what anybody's. Detroit, they just got Isaiah Joe. Woohoo! Like, the fuck is that gonna do? And they got rid of Beef Stew. So the guy that makes you the bad boy piston.
Apparently they want Kawhi,
and Kawhi's like, fuck no, I'm not going.
Yeah, he don't really want to go there. So yeah.
And they're saying Jalen Duren's not happy with the contract negotiations, and it could potentially be a sign and trade. The East is really the Charlotte just lost LaMelo. They just traded him. The East is in shambles right now. Like the only team I'm looking at is like Indiana. And that's a rematch I want really bad.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw shout out to Sam Quinn of CBS. Like he got a lot of heat for because he said something like, I think Knicks fans, they've gotten everything they could have wanted except like the receipt that's waiting for the Pacers. And a lot of Knicks fans like, oh, we don't care about the Pacers and what's the name. I'm like, I don't know. Like I want to see them beat the Pacers. Like I mean, I'm not. This doesn't at all lessen that they won a championship because they didn't beat the Pacers. But I definitely, and trust me, the fact that they won a championship, the Pacers have one of the worst years in the history of their franchise. That's
that makes
again.
It better,
I grew up again in the Reggie Miller era, so I that is one of the franchises I hate the absolute most in any sport. So this was awesome, but like no, I want to see them beat the Pacers as well. So I think these fans, a lot of us, I think, are in our bag, and I get it, but. Trust me, if the Knicks and Pacers get locked up again in the playoff series next year, the whole conversation among Knicks fans will be, this is the match we've been waiting for because we didn't get them during the year we went to the title. And, I think that's a natural way to think about this.
No, yeah, I need that rematch. I just saw it like before coming on here. Since 1995, the Pacers have beaten us 6 times.
Yeah, every time pretty much every time they faced except for one, they beat the Knicks beat them in '99, and that was amazing as a kid because I was like, oh, I heard it was how the Pacers. Well, they lost to the Pacers badly in '98. I think they lost in like 5 games. I remember that as a kid. I was like 6.
And then we lost to them again in 2000.
They lost them in 2000, and they went to the finals. They won Game 6, I believe, on the Garden floor. And that's one of those losses that people don't talk about enough. That hurt me. I mean, listen, you're the reigning Eastern Conference champs. And it's the Pacers, and they win the Eastern Conference. You're the I mean, the Knicks had a shot to go back to the NBA Finals. Now, I think they got dog walked by Shaq and Kobe, but I wanted to see it happen at least. And they won the Eastern Conference championship on the Knicks floor, which is not what you want. So yeah, I didn't know Melo getting blocked by Hibbert. Like the Pacers have had the Knicks number as a franchise for a little while now. So I am certainly looking for the comeuppance for that one.
And you know what's crazy too? Like the last 2 years that we played the Pacers, I never felt like the Pacers were better than us.
I always felt like the Pacers played better, which was annoying. Well, 2 years ago, I thought that was I'll be honest, and Pacers fans will say that it's excuses. I thought that was just an injuries series. Like the Knicks had
Oh yeah,
gotten so
I think
decimated by
I think
injuries.
if OG doesn't get hurt, we win in 5.
Yeah, and like Randall never played, and Mitch
Yeah.
never played. Like there are guys that just never played, and then they ran out of bodies. I also think if homeboy Nemhard, my Gonzaga guy, if he doesn't hit that step back 3, I don't think they win.
Oh yeah,
I think Knicks win the series with those guys all hurt. Like that was game 3 at
that
home.
was game
where
3.
The Knicks walked them down, and we're in a position where if they get a stop there, they can win the game. And then Nemhard hits a prayer from like 30 feet out. If he doesn't make that shot, I think the Knicks win the series. So the 2 years ago, I kind of put that aside. Last year was a series that was frustrating because I just felt like I agree. I don't feel like the Pacers were a better team, but I felt like they were coached much better.
Yes,
and they played better, and that's all that really matters.
That's what I say all the time.
They had a coach who knew exactly how to attack the Knicks and their weaknesses, and I think a lot of Knicks fans in this era, I was among the people who wanted Tibbs fired. So I think at this point, people aren't trying to do like victory parades about that, because at the end of the day, like Tibbs was a big reason why they got to the point that they got to. But it was just very clear that there was a coaching mismatch that the Knicks were never going to overcome in that matchup. Yeah, and that was a big reason why they lost.
I wasn't really kicking and screaming for Tibbs to get fired, but that Pacers series to me is what cost him his job.
Yeah, no question.
And when it did get announced that he got fired, I wasn't even upset. And
I was like, great. I was like, this is an opportunity for them to actually reach their potential.
And I actually I remember telling people like, it's actually not a bad decision that they did that. And I remember everybody was like, "Oh, poverty franchise Knicks. They made it this far and they fired their coach. Like, what kind of franchise is that?"
Yeah.
So it's just Knicks for clicks at this point. Because had we kept Tibbs, because I tell my friends all the time throughout this entire playoff run, I was like, if we still had Tibbs, we wouldn't have been in the finals.
No way. I've told my friends I think they would have lost to Atlanta.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Because they would have never made the adjustment to run the offense through Cat.
I said the same thing.
Would have been able to figure them out. He may have, but it would have been a 7-game series. There's no doubt.
I was like, we would have lost 7,
and it would have been real tough.
I was like, we would have lost to Atlanta, if not Philly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I was like, we weren't getting to the final with Tibbs.
No.
And I love Tibbs, but the last thing I have for you, did you keep tabs on the guys that the Knicks drafted in the NBA draft?
Yes. The short answer is yes. Long answer is so Jack Cahill, the kid from Germany. Again, like I kind of threw in earlier, I'm a Gonzaga fan, so that's my college basketball team.
He was supposed to go there, right?
Yes, so he's supposed to go to Gonzaga. So I knew a little bit about Jack and watched some of his games because I was excited about Gonzaga. I mean, that program, I can do a whole nother podcast talking about Gonzaga and my frustrations with them right now. But this was supposed to be kind of like, oh, okay, this is a big acquisition, like this big commitment, like maybe this is them getting back to being a Final Four caliber team. And then he announces he's going to the NBA, and it was stunning to everybody. And I was like, is this guy even going to be like is he going to be a first-round pick? Like, why would you not take the guaranteed money from college? And he ended up being a second-round pick, but Knicks ended up taking him, in the 30s or whatever, or maybe 40, whatever it was.
I think it was like the 40s.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got game. He's playing in a pretty good league in Germany, so it's just some of these guys, it's kind of, you don't really know, like for a guy who's going to play in college basketball, but was seen as maybe one of the steals in the recruiting class, how to look at that as an NBA guy, I don't know. I think he's probably one of those players that he doesn't want to be stashed, apparently, is what I saw. I don't know if he still maybe will get stashed. If he doesn't, I think he goes right with the Kevin McCullers of the world. Those guys are kind of on the bench that are going to be kind of just being development guys who will eventually maybe get their chance in a couple of years. And, Tyler Nickel, watching SEC basketball this year, he is one of the best shooters in college basketball. So he can shoot the rock. He can play a little defense, though he's not a defender, I would say. But you brought this guy in to come in and shoot. And in the NBA, the draft is weird. And I do a draft show with my brother Kendall, Difference Makers. The draft is interesting because there was a time where finding guys who could shoot was like all you were looking for during the early era of this like analytics thing. But it's gotten different now because teams have learned how to teach guys how to shoot. Like I've seen a bunch of draft prospects who I never would have thought would have a jump shot because they couldn't shoot a lick in college or in Europe become knockdown shooters. Like Dorian Finney-Smith was not a shooter, and like then he gets to the NBA and he's able to make a lot of money because he can hit corner threes. Like the shot doctors that they have and the mechanisms that they have to teach guys how to shoot. It's actually similar to I think kind of what you see in baseball with these guys that come into the minors throwing 91 and then by the time they get to major they will throw 100. Like I think they could teach anybody how to shoot. So I'll be curious. Like he can already come in and shoot, so they won't have to teach him. But what kind of minutes is he playing? There's a lot of depth, obviously, on the wing, so this is not an easy team to crack through. These are the kind of players that I think are, if they stick, you're talking about replacements for whenever the Knicks move on from Deuce, move on from Josh Hart at the end of this contract. But these aren't guys I think they're impact guys next year. I don't think. But these are guys I think are being developed for whatever the next generation of Knicks are going to be. But the Knicks, they try to – they're just all about – saving costs right now. Like this was one of the weaker second rounds we've had in a long time because basically if you're decent, you were going back to college to make all the NIL money. And a lot of the European guys are now seeing that you can make NIL money. So they're going to college. So this is the weakest second round that we've probably ever had. So I don't want to go crazy over what these guys will bring, but I do like their skill sets. And I do think that what we've seen from Mo Diawara and what we've seen from the Knicks in general is that they've been pretty good at developing talent, even guys in the second round. So I wouldn't write these guys off as being players maybe in the future.
Yeah, I still got to do more research on Jack Cahill. I watched a little bit before. I'm like, damn, he got some balls. Pulling it from where he shoots
will
from.
he will shoot from anywhere. He is.
Yeah,
it's funny because I'm like I was devastated when he decommitted from Gonzaga. I'm like, you actually have to be kidding me because this is exactly the kind of guy that they need. They need somebody who has like this irrational confidence and a guy who can create his own shot. And I was like, oh, they're getting a steal. This is like a 5-star guy. Nobody really knows a 5-star guy, and that's gonna be really exciting. Maybe he's a one and done. And then he goes back to the NBA draft. I'm like, all right, well, it's the irony that he then became a Knick. I'm like, of course he became a Knick. Like I was going crazy that he's not a Zag and now he's a Knick. That's just kind of how it always works out. But I'm excited to see what they do with him. I want to see these guys in summer league. I'm definitely excited to see Jack Cahill in summer league.
I'm excited. And Tyler Nickel, I'm hyped for that dude. I'm so hyped.
He can shoot it, man. He's very good moving out the ball. I mean, that Vanderbilt program was one of my more fun teams to watch in college basketball this year because they had such a great offense. They had a great point guard who actually ended up not entering the draft, but he was contemplating. Like seeing how they move the ball and seeing how they got him open. Like I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And again, with the way the NBA works, you never know what guys may have opportunities, especially with Mike Brown. Like Mike Brown won't just bury you. Like if you can provide something, he'll give you an opportunity like he gave Mohamed Diawara. So I'm not anticipating Tyler Nickel does a ton, but we don't know. I want to see him on the roster and see how he fits in because again, every team needs shooting, and if he could shoot the ball the way he did in college and get his shot off and shoot it with effectiveness, then he could find himself getting some minutes every now and then in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I love about Mike Brown. He's going to use the entirety of the regular season to see what he has and experiment with different things. Because, like, even seeing Mo Diawara out there some games, Tyler Kolek out there some games, I knew when it came time to playoff time, like, these guys weren't going to play. But it was nice to see that he was experimenting that.
I remember I did New York Post Sports. I did a New York Got Game with Dexter Henry and Brian Fonseca, and we did a watch party. I did a couple of these. The first one I did was it was the January game. I don't know if you remember. This was right around like the rough part of January when they were losing all those games, and they beat the Raptors. This was like the beginning of them getting out of that. They beat the Raptors on the road. It was probably the best win of the season at that point in time, outside of the Christmas game. They beat them by like 20, and at that point in time, I think Diawara he just entered the rotation or he was fully in the rotation at that point. And Clarkson was out. Like they had just recently just pulled him out of rotation. And I told him, I was like, He's not playing right now, but Clarkson's going to be in the rotation in the playoffs. He's like, really? I'm like, those kind of guys you need those guys to win because they know kind of what playoff basketball is like. And regardless how Clarkson was playing terrible to start the season, I thought they're gonna need him at some point, and they did. Clarkson had to change his game in order to fit what Mike Brown needed. But I agree. I love that Mike Brown was able to experiment with so many guys in the roster. When I was doing prep for the NBA Finals, I watched all the games they played against the Spurs in the regular season, including the Cup game, and I kind of forgot the New Year's Eve game. This was like a Kevin McCullers game. Kevin McCullers played a ton of minutes. He actually had some huge plays in the game. Kevin McCullers, Tyler Kolek was at that point entrenched in the rotation. Mo Diawara had a huge role in the team. Like, there were some injuries, and that's what happens in the NBA season. But what I loved with Mike Brown was when those injuries would happen with Tibbs, it would just be, all right, well, now we're going with 8 guys or 7 guys, whatever. It's like, no, it's a regular season. You just need to play other guys. And yes, they may not be the better guys in the roster, and we may lose this game, but you can't say, listen, Jalen, I'm going to need 40 minutes from tonight in January. That doesn't make any sense. No, you just got to play other guys and hope that they can step up in these moments. Mike Brown showed that he had the trust in those guys, and that trust, I think, will be paid off for when those guys are going to be needed next year, maybe. Because again, if Mitchell Robinson's not here, if Landry Shamet's not here, then Mo Diawara is going to be in the rotation. He has to at that point. So that was important that those guys got those experiences this past season.
Yeah. That's gonna do it for this episode. I feel like I kept you here long enough. We answered a lot. It was fun. But before we get out of here, is there anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, man. Make sure you guys follow me on social media, EJ_Stewart on X, Action EJ on Instagram and TikTok. Also, check out the Buzzer app. Again, I do a live show with my brother Kendall, though I guess it's over now because the draft is over. But check out the Buzzer app, BZZR, all sports, no noise. Make sure you guys get on top of that. All verified sports accounts. So if you want to follow some of your favorite content creators and athletes, make sure you check out Buzzer. And make sure you subscribe to the Orange and Blue Plus podcast and subscribe to my YouTube channel, New Generation Media, NU Generation Media. We do sports. We also do pop culture stuff, a lot of fun stuff. Thanks so much, JV, man. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah, appreciate you for pulling up. You're always welcome to come back on. Hopefully I could pull up on your show one time.
Yeah.
Definitely whenever the Knicks season starts again. Probably definitely have you on again.
Yeah, we definitely got to do a home and home. Yeah, we'll definitely do a home and home and on.
We could definitely make that happen. I'm excited for Summer League too. I'm a sicko. Like when Knicks Summer League is on, I'll be sitting on the couch watching that too.
Yeah, same here.
But appreciate you, bro, for pulling up. I'll let you get out of here.
Thanks,
Peace out,
man.
bro.
Take care.